So yeah, there's a list of all the games. It was a frig of a lot. A lot more than I thought there was, but yeah, there's the big ass list there to go through. But yeah, so we're gonna try to tackle most of those and give our thoughts and opinions on them today. And yeah, hey JW, how's it going, buddy?
Good, you?
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Yeah,
Work is not too much.
I mean, work is always too much, but that's okay. I'm home now, so I gotta calm down. um,
Okay, good.
but yeah, buddy, how's your week been since we talked last?
Pretty good. Um, except the Final Fantasy 16 demo, I haven't been doing much. I replayed the first Max Payne, and that's pretty much the gaming I did.
Yeah, I saw you were talking with Jimmy about it. Um, you said it kind of reminded you of the anime you liked, right? The music style.
Evangelion a bit. Well, some not necessarily. Well, there is one song in one key scene,
Okay.
and there's one whole scene in particular as well, which I don't want to describe because it's a spoiler for the show and or the demo as well. So I
Oh,
won't say
okay.
what, but there's a visual scene that is quite similar to some other scene in Evangelion. So yeah, there are some weird parallels I find with it, which can only be good. It's one of my favorite shows ever. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my thought right away. I was like, oh man, this is definitely gonna be a game he's gonna enjoy. uh,
Oh, for sure. Like just the demo alone, the combat is really good. Uh, and the fun thing with the demo is that they make you play the intro of the game, so you get to learn the basics and all that.
ooh, okay.
Your progress saves for if you want to buy the game, so you don't have to redo the beginning of the game once you get it,
See, I like that. I don't understand why more demos wouldn't do that. Like it just makes
right?
sense.
Plus, there's a mode where it jumps much later in the game. You can't save that part, but it jumps much later in the game when you have multiple tools for your combat to use
Oh,
to
that's
give you a
cool.
feel of to give you a feel of how everything works, switching between the stuff and comboing and all that.
Okay, like for a demo idea, that's pretty awesome. I like the fact that you get two different tastes of what the game has to offer. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's really like it's a proper next gen game, I would say. Like the visuals are insane and the gameplay is fluid and on par, and I was playing with the quality mode, not even the performance mode. So performance mode must be amazingly fluid because the quality mode was fluid enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you guys were talking about it, right? And then I know before that, Jimmy's talked about it, and like a few others. Like a lot of people hyped up that game, so I took a look at the actual trailer finally for it, and like I get it. I do honestly get it. Like that game looks fucking beautiful. Like just the trailer alone, kind of blew me away. That's
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the trailer is in the demo, so
ooh.
I don't know what to expect after the demos. It's super interesting, especially where the story sort of ends at the demo.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to play more, and so
yeah,
the gameplay is uh, has some Devil May Cry esque feel to it, right? It's an action hero type of thing where you have like multiple moves you can use, but it's easily understandable and like it's not complicated. You have like a basic attack. You have 2 to 3 different magic attacks, which they do various stuff, and you can buy more moves as you progress. Of course, getting points and all that.
yeah. I was gonna say because I really
And
haven't played a Final Fantasy game. Like I played the old school ones, like the turn based, like that was neat and all that. And I think the probably the more recent one I played was the one that had lightning in it, and that combat was okay. Like I
The
didn't mind it.
13 one, yeah.
Yeah, but this one, yeah, no, this one looked a lot different. Like you said, like more Devil May Cry, which I like. I actually like that a lot. Uh,
I mean, it's still very stat based. You know, it's
okay,
still based on, you know, oh, you have this equipment, you have this ring that does
okay,
plus
I don't mind
10
that.
defense and all that. And yeah, I don't mind it either. But I mention it because, you know, in the, you know, Devil May Cry is not stats based. It's very combo using the physique of the game and all that.
Yes.
And while this is more, it's as actiony as that, but it's very much stat based. So you'll end up, let's say, if you're against a boss or something, you'll end up, you know, slashing away and at the health more so than if it was a Devil May Cry game, let's say.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's a bit of a grinding on the health, but it's not that bad, really.
And I was like,
Um,
when I was looking through like a lot of these games, right? I think the thing that draws me into a game more than anything is like that medieval, or like that kind of like timeline with swords and all that. Any game that has that, I'm just like, okay, I'm in. I'm in for this. And yeah, that definitely had that vibe to it. So I like that.
oh, well, that's what I was going to mention. Actually, I find this is, well, in terms of introduction, it's the probably the best written Final Fantasy game in a while, where they get across a lot of things about the universe, the characters, and their relationships, and the complexity of each one and all that in a very short and good way. You know, it's not forced. It doesn't feel like they're saying too much or they're overreacting or stuff. Everything feels very grounded, even though
Ooh.
even though if you look at it from afar, it looks just like just insane stuff, right? But
Yeah.
the whole universe with the Empire, the Dominions, and everything just seems like this big universe that's super well written. Beside, you know, the whole combat thing. So um, no, everything seems to be grade A, from the combat, from the there's there's big cinematics moment, a bit like in God of War, where you get to play in moments that feels like a cutscene, and do giant fights with, you see in the trailer, there are big sort of kaiju monsters, so Ifrit the Phoenix and all that. But it's not just cinematics, you'll get to do those battles as well, which was awesome to do.
Yeah, so yeah, Tommy agrees with you. He thinks Final Fantasy 16 is absolutely gorgeous as well.
Yep.
But yeah, yeah. Like I remember there was one scene there that I was watching on the trailer. I didn't can't remember. I don't know who the guy was. I'm assuming it's one of the bad guys. But anyway, it's this big buff guy, right? And then the main character is about to take him on. And they're having like their little spiel. But like that whole hype before that fight actually took place, I was like, man, this looks fucking great. Like that's the kind of fights I want to have in a Final Fantasy
Yeah.
game. Oh, you just watched it too, Tommy? Yeah, no, it was really good. I just recently watched the trailer as well. JW got to play the demo though, so he was just kind of giving us a little info about it. But yeah, no, I could see it. I could totally understand why that would be someone's game of the year. Um, yeah.
I think it will most likely be for me. I mean, if it continues in that direction, and
Yeah.
it will most certainly likely be.
Yeah, I don't see it changing too much after playing the demo like that.
I mean, there is Island Wake 2 coming up, but I don't know. We shall see.
Do you have like a high regard for Alan Wake? Like I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I didn't feel as pumped as some people were over Alan Wake.
Oh yeah, no, I love every Remedy game. I don't think they've made a bad game that I've played yet, you know. But I can see why you didn't maybe you didn't necessarily go over it, because it's way more the story and the writing. I
Oh
find
yeah.
that is stronger often with Remedy games than the gameplay. Alan Wake's gameplay was okay for what it was. It's good, but it wasn't great or anything.
Yeah, no, hands down. The story was amazing. I loved the story of it. I loved the whole concept that they had for the game itself. But yeah, it was more like the gameplay. But again, it's not bad whatsoever. Like I definitely enjoyed it. I played it more than any other game when I did my month of horror. Because yeah, I just like I don't know, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't really hear much about Alan Wake. I just heard like people were like, oh, it's a great game, and then when I actually played it, I was like, wow, like this is good. Was his like I said, wasn't
Well,
his big?
there's a lot of repetition in it as
Yeah,
well. In encounters and all that. It can get old, yeah.
but I'm with you 100%. Like my main drive playing that game and wanting to get to the next checkpoint was the story itself. I was like, hey, this is a good story. I want to find how it's going to end now. But yeah, that was definitely my motivation to keep going through it.
Yeah, or Control. The gameplay was great and all that, but I find the story universe is still the thing that drives me to pull through and just want to explore every little tidbits through that game, right?
Yeah, I'm really happy you recommended that one because I am excited to try that game out finally. Because like I say again, another one I've heard a lot of great things about, and I remember just from the Super Show they've talked about like the mechanics in that game too, just like how a breath of fresh air, I guess, is what it was at that time. So I'm excited. I'm excited to play
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
for sure, yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Tommy? Looks like you could do magic attacks and your melee combos in Final Fantasy 16. I'm not too sure. How was that part, Cat? Sorry, JW.
It's well, it depends of the style you use, because like I mentioned, later on you get multiple styles you can use.
Yeah.
So depending on the styles, there normally the magic button is just beside the basic attack. So basic attack is square or X for Xbox and triangle for magic. And so let's say I have the fire one. Well, I throw uh, fireballs, and it will be different for another style. But there's also you hold R2, and then your four top buttons become magic buttons that you can use. And so
Okay.
as you upgrade these styles, for example, I'll use the fire one again. You can end up using the fire attacks during your combo. So you'll be able to, let's say, do 1-2 hit and then an explosion from your hand instead of a fireball. And so there's a lot
Oh, okay.
of different stuff to do here. Also, if people are a bit scared of like, oh, well, I don't know if I'll be able to do all the combos and I'm not that good or anything. There's the at the beginning they ask you if you want to do the action mode or story mode, which is story mode is people will have the some of the abilities, magic and all that will be much easier to do in combo those special moves and all that. I don't know how exactly it works because I chose the action mode. I don't like
Okay.
it when it automatically done for me. But if people are intimidated by the various moves you can do, there's the story mode that apparently does that. You can change it anytime in the game as well, as long as you're not in combat.
Okay, that's pretty neat. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good tip because you're right. If you're just a little intimidated, have that on for the first little bits, and then once you get comfortable, you can flick it off.
And the only problem I had with this demo, and it's not only this demo, it's a lot of recent AAA games, is that the AI seemed dead. Like they would surround me and look at me while I
Wow,
pummel
really?
them. Yeah. Or they would take a long time before attacking, and those are normal enemies. I'm not talking about the mini bosses or bosses and all that. The stronger enemies do move and have a lot of moves, but the normal just ones they don't move much, and I'm sort of annoyed because I wish they would react. Actually I wish it was a bit harder. I thought it was super easy, and I don't think there's a difficulty setting. So
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked that that game would have that same issue because I know exactly what you mean. I think it was used the Star Wars gift there to kind of demonstrate it.
yeah.
But yeah, like yeah, you're right. Like it is. Some of them are really terrible. Like like exactly that bad. Like where you can walk side by side with them and it doesn't even phase them.
But
Yeah.
that was my biggest gripe with it. But it didn't. Well, it did at some moments, but in general, it didn't deter from my enjoyment of the game.
Yeah. Like I said, sometimes the games still be good. But yeah, I get your point though. Yeah, it is nice to have, bad guys that actually react to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Tommy. He says story mode is weenie mode, basically. Yep, 100%. But yeah, so we got a huge ass list here of games. I honestly didn't do too much this week, to be completely honest with you. I just did a lot of work and yeah, and I just played more Fallout 4. So it's still the same. It's been from the day one. But I am curious. Like, there's a few on here, JW. I wanted to hear your opinions on. But just like from the showcase itself, what games were you excited about?
The Xbox showcase.
Yeah. So on
Um,
the general chat, I posted all the
right, I
titles
see it.
just to remind.
Um, well, I love the first Hellblade. I thought plus it ended perfectly. So I'm always a bit scared for Hellblade 2 to what they're doing. And I don't think they've shown quite enough for me to get excited for it.
I was gonna say because the way, cause I didn't play that one. I want to because that's another one I said that was hyped up quite a bit. But from what I understood, when that one ended, a lot of people had that comment where they didn't think there would be a sequel. Like they thought that was it. That was a one-time game.
Well, yeah, for sure. I don't want to spoil it, but
Oh,
yes.
yeah, of course. Okay.
And
So yeah,
it
that's
feels to me like they want, it's going to be a strange comparison, but it feels to me like they want to do this God of War esque thing, but with Hellblade, so Xbox take on a sort of God of War
oh
esque type of thing of having this mythic adventure with this well yeah with this character going
yeah.
through the this going through because the first Hellblade was not only a good game in lore story and all that, but it was also a good representation that they wanted to do uh, about someone that's schizophrenic, right? So
Yeah, I was
it,
gonna ask, is the combat similar to God of War? Like, is it like that, like the hack and slash or what to call it?
yes and no. It's similar in
Okay.
the sense the camera is up close. You have blade, um, and but it's hard to explain because it's similar in the way the camera is up close and it's very cinematic when you do it. But it's
Okay.
much different because you can counter and it's much more fluid and quick, I find, than God of War.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that.
I really like the combat of the first Hellblade, and that's something that annoys me that we still haven't seen with Hellblade 2. The actual combat, that you will be doing and not just the running or walking. And I'm scared that they're making a walking simulator here, right?
Yeah, I could see that. The way that trailer came across, it did seem like she was, not really gonna do much.
Yeah, for now. So
Yeah,
Fable took me by surprise. I wasn't
it
thrilled
was
with it because it was super weird. I wasn't expecting a giant tail with Fable.
right. Yeah, like Jack and the Beanstalk, like actually going into like fairy tale fables.
I mean, it could be good, but again, I'm annoyed because they only show a cinematic, really. Again, for the millionth showcase where they showcase Fable with a cinematic.
That's
So,
true. Yeah, I mean it was different. Like if that's the approach it's going this time, it is. Yeah, it kind of surprised me. For me though, like I'm personally pumped for that game only because I think his name is Richard is actually, but I always just call him Moss, the guy from the
right,
IT crowd, the one the
Richard
voices the giant. Yeah,
Iowa, or whatever his last name is. Yeah.
like him alone, like that's it. I would buy the game, like just to experience him. Like I'm hoping he has a big part in it, as like the giant or the bad guy, whatever he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that part alone got me pumped. I was like, okay, I'm down. I'll play this.
Um, Val took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting. It looks kind of old. Like it doesn't look. I don't want to say good because, well, yeah, it just doesn't seem that good compared to what was hyped up to be, and it.
Yeah, It almost looks like it should have been like around the same time as Oblivion. In all honesty, like it didn't. I don't know.
Well,
It
around the
didn't stick
same,
out.
yeah. And I mean, I'm ready to give them a pass because it's Obsidian. They made my favorite RPG, so Fallout New Vegas. They made the Outer Worlds, which is great. Hilarious game. I love that game. But I have to say, I was surprised that after all these years, it looked like that, and it seemed way more like the camera. There's something off with the movement and combat. Like it seems like it's supposed to be in VR, but it's not in VR.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, it did look that way.
So I wasn't again thrilled by it. Now I
Yeah.
don't I don't remember what are Towerborn's 33 Immortals. I again 33 Immortals I don't
So
care because it's a co-op thing.
like okay, yeah, like that game, 33 Immortals, like it sounds cool, right? But it's again, it's one of those games you're gonna have to have a nice, decent group of friends to play with. I mean, I'm
Well,
sure it'll be okay,
it's a
like playing
nice
with
YouTuber
randoms.
streamer type of game, right? You
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
in a bunch of people and do a video or stream it.
And to go with your point too, right? Like again, like they showed you gameplay, they showed you that kind of stuff, but like, are they all going to be the same? Like, are there different classes? Like, it didn't really like show you any individuality between them. You know, it was like, okay, like it's cool you get to have 33 people, but like, if it's all just 33 of the exact same character, that's kind of boring.
Yeah. Was Towerborn the cinematic
The
video with a cool art style from We Happy Few guys?
no, Towerborn was the one that oh, what did they make? Banner Saga. They had that game.
Oh, right. Uh,
Which is really different, right? Because Banner Saga was more like tactical. Um, well, at least for the first one I played. This one was more like almost like action combat.
yeah, it looked like Hades, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Which isn't bad. It was,
I'm indifferent with that one. Like it looks fine, but doesn't. I don't know.
and again, it's a four-player co-op game too, right? I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
you can play it single player, but yeah.
What
Um,
also annoys me with all those games is that they're specifically made to play online co-op. I wish they would do split screen. They would. I'm sure they would sell so many doing split screens or doing couch co-oping.
Thank you so much for saying that. I miss fucking couch co-op. Like, there's not enough games that have that now. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I would buy it in a heartbeat just to play couch co-op, with my fiance.
Right?
So
Yeah, like fuck. I remember when I got Cheyenne back into it. We were looking at Xbox One games. Like there was barely anything. I was like, man, we don't really have a lot of choices. And back in the day, like on the PS2, I could have so many like RPGs and stuff like that that I could choose from.
yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, the expansion.
Yeah,
The
I still
only
have to play
thing
the
I will,
first one.
well, the only thing I will say with this is that they said there would be no DLC, paid DLC, and this is a paid DLC. So I'll,
Oh, really?
yes,
That's a fuck
and
up.
with the
Wow,
with the big fuck up that was Cyberpunk 2077, I feel like this should not be paid.
that's true. That's kind of like a slap in the face,
Yeah,
really.
but I
Uh,
also hear they're revamping the whole, you know, e- everything, the AI system, the skill system, and all that they haven't mentioned with the expansion, but that will be in the base game as well.
oh,
Um,
okay.
I
The
was listening
story
to
looked
Skill Up.
good.
Yeah, I was listening to Skill Up explain this, where there's a bunch of upgrades and better stuff that he was able because he tried out the expansion. He got to try the expansion, and he was saying, and they were telling, yeah, this will be on the whole game, but we're not ready to talk about those changes yet. So there's a bunch of changes that will come with this. Um, it's fun for the people that are still interested in Cyberpunk, but I'm not. I thought it had a great beginning, but a dumbass end. Like it, the more you go on, the dumber it becomes. And so for me, even story-wise, beside the problems game and all that, it's not. It's ruined for me. So I don't think I'll be paying for that.
Yeah, like I'm literally buying it. I bought it now, right, just to try it out because I just wanted to experience Cyberpunk. But um, as far as like an expansion to like bring back that player base, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I still don't think they hit the note. Whether, yeah, but if it would have been a free to play
Well, yeah, I would have played it if it was free
expansion,
to play for sure.
yeah, I almost feel like that would have been the better direction, like to bring the fans back, right? Like bring that excitement,
Because I
because
still
yeah,
have a copy. I keep forgetting to sell it. Um, I still have a copy, and if this would have been free, I would have definitely come back into it and tried it. I don't know the pricing for it though, as well. If it's like $50, that is horrible. A horrible price tag for a game that
that's
was
true.
that was a slap to the face to the whole player base. So
And I almost feel like that is the possibility. Like I feel like it probably will come out 50, and
that's
they'll
what I think
justify
as
it.
well. That's why I'm
Yeah,
saying that number, but they have not confirmed this.
I feel like they'll justify it too. Like, well, you get a lot of story content. It's like, yeah, but that's not kind of the point right now.
High on, I wasn't okay. I didn't know High on Life was getting a DLC. I guess I must have hit that,
There was a
missed that.
lot, yeah. I was like, man, I must have missed some of these along the way. But I did check up on a few websites to make sure they were being accurate. But yeah,
That's a
I never played
game.
the
Yeah, no, I haven't played this. That's a game I wanted to try, but I didn't play yet.
yeah, like another one right I heard was pretty good, comedy wise at least. It was pretty funny. So it's weird to think that they're going like a horror route now.
Yeah,
Um, Microsoft Flight Simulator. I was curious what you were thinking.
I don't care. Simulators
Really,
are not
yeah.
my thing.
The only reason why I kind of liked it is I just like the direction that it's going into. I like that it started off as like just like whatever, just like here's some graphics and check what it looks like on a plane, right? And like now they're kind of getting a little more into it. They're giving you jobs. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of curious where the third one's going to lead into.
Oh, for sure, it's
Um,
fun for the people that are into those stuff.
yeah,
It's
like I'm
just
still
not for
not
me.
into it, but like I'm just wondering. I'm like, okay, like now you're getting more into the job aspect of it. Where will the third version of this like lead you into? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's on the right track. It's still, I don't know, it still doesn't hit those notes for me.
Did you try the Lies of P demo?
No, no, I didn't. That one too, I didn't really know much about. So I just like I said, I watched most of the trailers for these. It looked kind of interesting. Why? Do you have some backstory to it?
Well, I've played the demo, and I don't know. It's just another Souls-like to me. Like, well, it's closer to Bloodborne in the sense
Okay.
of when you get hit, but you hit back the enemy, you gain back some health. But it's not as I don't find it as fluid as Bloodborne. The dodge mechanic I find is quite flimsy. It doesn't work well. I find it's still better than
Oh,
the
okay.
Sekiro dodge mechanic, but it, I don't know. It's just a slight jump that's not very good. Um, but the I'm sure any person that are a fan of the Souls-like genre will like this. It's just in general, it's not my thing. Um,
Okay.
but the environment is quite cool. The Victorian environment with and the twist that instead of puppets, they're automatons because it's in the Pinocchio world, but in this
Yeah.
timeline where everybody is getting destroyed by automatons. So it's a cool twist, and the ambience of it all is nice, but it's not enough for me to keep to want it to keep me going compared to Bloodborne, let's say. And I wanted to say something else about it, but I can't remember right now. Oh well.
Okay. Gives me a better idea though what it's about.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
find it very special. Oh yeah, I remember. I played Lies of P on both the performance and the quality mode for PS5, and
Okay.
on quality mode, I feel it was lower than 30 FPS when I played it. I felt the frames were quite low, and so performance. I changed it to performance, and everything was going well. But you lose all the ambience and just the lighting with the world and all that when you go to performance. So that's something I think that is to note.
I don't think you've ever like really said before, JW. But like, how do you feel about like frame rate? Like, does it really bother you when they drop down to like 30? Because I know I was like looking at some Twitter comments, right? Like some people like, ah, I grew up in that timeline when it was only whatever 20 frames per second. So I was like, yeah, but those were different games though. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
for
know,
sure. Look, I grew up with the N64, so every game had like 5 FPS, right? So,
exactly,
but
yeah.
I wouldn't come back to that time. Like, the people that want that's like, oh, it's not a problem that it's under 30. No, there's a big problem, and
Yeah. Like I'm thinking too. Like it's completely different games you're comparing them to, right? Like they're yeah, the newer games you need a higher frame per second.
I don't
Like it makes
mind.
sense.
I don't mind a Lux 30 consistent FPS, but under that, it's very problematic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Under 30 is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I don't
but
know. I thought those comments were weird because it's like, yeah, you're like comparing apples to oranges right now. Like they're completely different. Like,
for sure, yeah. I mean, of course, I would prefer 60 FPS. Like, I see the difference, but
oh yeah.
I'm not, I won't get angry if it's locked at 30.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just curious if you felt the same way. Like I said, like I don't mind 30. But yeah, like obviously you're right. Like the higher the frames, the more enjoyable that game's gonna become.
Well, I know some people were mad that Starfield on console would be locked at 30 FPS.
Yeah,
But they shouldn't be because it will just play like your other games or your other Bethesda games that you've played. So it's going to be
e-
locked at 30, but it's going to drop here and there on at 10 FPS.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like at the end of the day, everyone got to realize like it's still a Bethesda game. There's still going to be the same Bethesda stuff throughout it,
Well,
right? Like,
that's my take, but the game is not out. The jury's still out. You
it's
never know,
true.
but
That's true.
if you
But I
look
mean,
at
like,
history, though, they don't have one game that is high bug-free, consistent, and
exactly, yeah. Like I've played enough of them, where it's like, okay, like this is what I expect. It's not like I hate them for it. It's like, okay, whatever, like I'm buying it. If it's not that, I'll be pleasantly surprised and happy. But if it is that, like I'm not gonna raise my hopes up.
I saw a title from Kotaku pass. I didn't click the article because it seemed like clickbait, but apparently they had to reassure that this Starfield will be the less buggy game that Bethesda will have. Uh, Someone said that apparently that
Oh,
they had to
okay.
reassure that it would be the less buggy game that they ever would have made, which is I don't know. It's a dumb statement.
It is. It's like we know what our name usually means, but trust us.
It's just at
um,
this point, when you have to reassure your buyers that it's less buggy than the other ones, it's problematic.
exactly. I mean, I will say though, because I don't know if we touched on that one. But I am still excited to play it. Like I mean, like I said, I do like Bethesda a lot. I don't care. Like I'll play whatever new game they're gonna release. But yeah, no, like just actually seeing more of that trailer and gameplay. I don't know. I was into it. I liked it. I liked the idea behind it, the worlds,
Um.
the creatures that they had. Well, the creatures that they showed at
Oh
least.
yeah, the creatures was the best part for me. They were super nice looking. I really liked them. Um. I can't get into it for some reason. I mean, this with the showcase they showed, like the first trailer they showed, I thought it was super rough, and
Yeah.
like I thought it would be horrible. Then I saw this this showcase, and now it was like, oh yeah, no, this looks much better than before. This looks good, but I'm not super excited for it either. This is not a day one for me, but there's a lot of cool stuff. The only, I mean, the characters look horrible. Like
Yeah.
like I've never. It's like they've been imported from another game, another era. It's plastic surgery gone wrong. Like something's very wrong.
So true though.
I showed it to my fiance, and she's a big Bethesda game. Like she only plays Bethesda game, well specifically Skyrim, and so she knows how buggy it is and how it's not always the prettiest and all that. But even her couldn't stand. the character the character models. Like
Yep.
she would get pissed off seeing them.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like honestly, like I'm the same way. If Bethesda didn't make this game, I don't think I would be as excited. Not like overly excited. I'm just like, okay, a new Bethesda game, like I'm pumped to play it, right? But like, yeah, if this is anybody else, I probably would have been like, okay, cool, I'll play it at some point.
Well, you see, you know, people get super hyped for Bethesda. I'm more hyped for when Obsidian comes out with something. I've always
Very
been more
true.
towards Obsidian, which is why I'm probably, you know, trying to give Avowed a pass. Because, you know, the Other Worlds, when they first announced it, I thought it looked off and not good. So I didn't buy it day one. And much later when I played it, I thought it was the most hilarious game I've played in ever. So I should have bought it when it came out. But you know, all this to say, it could be very good, but looks rough. But
I know we
uh,
said this before too, right? Like it comes down to those trailers. Like sometimes they really do a shitty job of advertising a
oh well,
good
this
game.
time is the character for sure.
Yeah.
There's no mistaking something went wrong. I don't know if you've noticed something, but have you noticed in the 1 hour showcase the background?
What about it? I was more watching the what do you call it? The YouTube videos of it afterwards. I didn't get to
I,
watch the whole.
so in the background, because you know they would show, you know, the people working there talking, and you would see behind
Okay.
them, and their workplace is horrible. It's full of super small cubicles. Like it's like
Aw.
as big as like where you put your clothes. You know, forgot the
Oh
word.
yeah, like a little laundry closet.
Yeah, it looks like a closet. Like it's so small, and and my fiance made me see this, and now I can't unsee it. Every time I see a video of Starfield and one of the dev talking, I just see these super small cubicles behind them, and I just feel bad for them.
That's too funny. I have to look now. I'll have to check that out.
You won't be able to unsee now. I'm telling you.
And like I know PlayStation kind of did the same thing too. I was gonna ask you later on, your opinion on the two of them. Um, I guess like I knew what some games were just Xbox exclusive, but there was a lot that was on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Where I felt like the PlayStation showcase, kind of focused a lot more on its own exclusives. So that part was a little disappointing.
Well, both of them
Uh,
they showed multiple platforms and exclusivity. And
yeah,
I thought the
yeah,
same as well, but when I rechecked them, no, they're pretty on par. I think
yeah. Okay, okay. I thought okay, just maybe it came across that way.
it's just they're not showing the logos of multiple platforms just to fuck with your head. And
Oh, okay.
so you know they would show, let's say, Cyberpunk 2077, and
Yeah,
they would only put the Xbox Series logo instead of putting Xbox theme, uh, PlayStation 5, let's say.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I got confused for a moment where I was wondering, is this an only like expansion console exclusive? That seems weird. But you know, PlayStation did the same, so they're both idiots for doing that and annoying.
And just okay. Well, while we're on this topic, just out of curiosity, because I wanted your honest opinion. Like between the two showcases, who do you think like did the better job, or do you think that they were both around the same?
Um, well, for me personally, or for people in
Yeah.
general, I think.
No, no, for you personally, I was just curious what you
For me
thought.
personally, I prefer the PlayStation Showcase because they showed, I find, more gameplay moments, and they had a lot more
Yeah.
of individual games, which you know I wasn't, you know, new games, new IPs that looked awesome. You know, like Phantom Blade Zero, like you know, it's that samurai. Well, I don't know if he's a samurai or whatever, but it's that game where you battle like 3 4 people at the same time with a blade, and there's like all sorts of creatures and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was like, I got super excited. It was so cool. for that game, and I don't even know what it is. That it's a new IP, and I always say there's not enough new IPs. There's too
Very true.
many sequels, remakes, and all that. And I find PlayStation had more exciting IPs than new exciting IPs that I didn't know than Xbox. Xbox had a lot of exciting new known quantities, I find.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Even you're looking at the list here, right? A lot of these are just sequels or remakes of older games.
Yeah.
Not too many new ones to know, but I will say the new ones that did come out, like eventually we get to South of Midnight and stuff like that. They did look good. Like quite a few of them
Well,
did
the
look
new stuff
interesting.
all had cinematics instead of gameplay, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes. No, that's true. That's true.
all the known quantities had gameplay, and all the not known quantities had cinematics. So maybe that's why I got annoyed compared to the PlayStation Showcase.
But yeah, no, I do agree. Like I remember watching that PlayStation showcase, and I kind of felt the same way. Like it made me want to have a PS5. I was like, okay, like these actually look like really good games. Like quite a few of these I could see myself wasting a lot of hours in. Um, we're not saying the Xbox ones didn't, but yeah, I don't know. It hit differently with the PlayStation
Well, it's like
showcase.
you said, South of Midnight. It had a really cool art style, cinematic. The universe seemed nice, but
Yeah,
no
almost like a Tim
gameplay.
Burton style.
No gameplay. Oh, I
The
mean, cool, but what else?
ex- yeah, it's almost like we're just starting this project, so here's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cinematic trailer.
That was my take on it as well.
Um, the other one, I know we kind of joked around with it, right, with Fallout 76, but what did you think about Elder Scrolls and their new expansion?
Well, I mean, it's cool for the people that play it, I guess.
Yeah,
There's, I don't think there's anything for new players. I don't think any new players look at that trailer and thought, "Oh, now I need to get Fallout." Uh, Not Fallout. I mean, Elder Scrolls Online. Right?
like I said, it's weird, right? Like Elder Scrolls is fun, but I don't know, whatever reason it is, I can never seem to get into the online game. I've tried
Oh,
so many times.
it's an MMO.
Um, yeah, maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's just because it's that I can't enjoy it the same way.
Can't get
But
into MMOs myself. So.
I thought when they had Morrowind, because I loved Morrowind, I was like, okay, this is my chance. I'm gonna get into it, and yeah, I couldn't drive myself to pay the
You
price. I
cut
was like,
out Mindful.
oh, sorry. I was gonna say even when Morrowind came out, the expansion, I thought that would be my moment where I would jump into it, and that still didn't hit me the same way. I was like, nah, I don't want to pay $60 for this. Like, it's still not worth it to me.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I've tried it. Um, it's an MMO.
Yeah,
That's all.
right.
There's nothing else to
I
say.
just I,
It's a
I wish it would have stood out.
Well, it stands out as far as MMO goes. I'm sure a lot of MMO fans will, you know,
Oh, for sure.
love
No,
it.
it definitely gets hyped up by that community.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy 14. Everybody loves that game, but I haven't tried it, but I know I won't get into it because it's an MMO, and I don't want to lose hours and hours just to get to the good part, right?
Exactly. Yep.
I don't have
Wait,
that time.
I was gonna say, and I think that was the one too. And of like all of them, I always remember the background for that one, and that's the one where they wiped out the entire world, right? And they revamped it again.
Yeah, that's the one where it had a disastrous launch,
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
and then just became so good that they couldn't they were full. They couldn't let people enter the game anymore. They had to stop selling the game.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yoshi P, I think the creative director of that game that made it all work.
I love it though. Like as far as like out of the box thinking goes, like that was pretty unique. I like the fact that they actually made it in the game itself, where there was a world disaster.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, do you really think Fallout 76 Atlantic City will pick up and save the Fallout 76 game?
No, no, I really don't. But the only reason like why I'm like more interested to play it now is because I feel like it's had a few. Like I know there's been other expansions it's had. So the original problem is that the world felt empty. So I was like, okay, so now at this point there's enough like meat on the bone where maybe it'll be enjoyable. Like I said, I'm not expecting it to be a No Man's Sky. I was just making jokes, but um, I think it'll be better than it was day one, and maybe that might be enough to want to sink your teeth into it. But there's still a lot of things that I'm wondering about it too. I was asking who was it there, 26 or Yes Mano, I think he is on Discord. Um, how the VATS mode worked, but he I don't think he really got what I meant. Because I was curious, like how can you do VATS in multiplayer, or online?
It's a
Sorry.
good question. I didn't even think of that.
Like yeah, just I don't know. There's a lot of little things, and plus too, like when you level up in a follow game, right? Like you get a lot of unique abilities, and like how like is that gonna separate from the online aspect? Like obviously there's like more blood, or like the mysterious stranger would appear. Like I don't know, I'm just curious how a lot of that stuff's gonna play out. Um, Plus, too, you kind of lose the fun factor of a single player game where, like you can blow up an entire town and stuff like that. Like, is it going to be the same in the online version? Like, there's a lot
I don't know.
to
I
experience, I
think
guess.
ZeniMax have to stop forcing their companies under them to make multiplayer games.
Yeah,
Because ZeniMax basically told the Bethesda to make a multiplayer Fallout game, right?
yeah,
And they did the same with Redfall for um, what's their name, Arcane. I think people should replace ZeniMax because clearly they don't know what they're doing.
yeah. Like when it comes to Bethesda, you just want single player. Like honestly, it's good single player games, and there's nothing wrong with that. Not every game has to be multiplayer.
Well, yeah, no, unless you want to make more money. That's the thing, though.
True,
Multiplayer games make much more money
that's true.
unless you have a banger of a banger that everybody wants to play.
Or you just do the Skyrim route. You just keep re-releasing it.
Well, yeah, because it was a banger that everybody wanted to play. And that's the thing, although it's too unpredictable to know which one will everybody like. Like they do all sorts of market research. They try to predict and think, oh, if we throw this element from those games because those games worked, then our games will work. But it doesn't work like that. But they keep doing it even though they think it will yield results. So I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was gonna say, with Redfall, there, I think I saw one of those links too, that you were describing, where they were like talking about some kind of new patch or whatever that was gonna fix all the problems, and Redfall would
Sure,
be like nothing you've ever experienced. I was like, huh, you got me
you're right.
intrigued.
I'll never experience it.
Oh, um, what else was there on there? Oh yeah, how about the Star Wars Outlaws?
Oh, that looked. I was surprised. That looked really cool to me. I
Yeah,
like even visually, it didn't look like a Ubisoft game. Usually, Ubisoft have like they all look the same their games. They
so
have like
true.
that weird, almost not alt gen, but weird. I don't know, weird ass textures or models of some kind. And this looked like next gen, really good looking, and the gameplay looked a bit. I don't know. It looked good. I liked it, but it seems not janky, but maybe a bit of rough edges here and there. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, no, I got an idea what you're talking about. I was curious. Do you think it's gonna be, um, kind of like how Fallen Order was, like gameplay wise, or do you think it's gonna be like more stealth focused? I was trying to think of like
Oh, you haven't seen the gameplay video?
maybe not. Then no, I did watch the trailer.
Okay, well, because
Like
the
there was
next
little
day on the
parts.
Ubisoft showcase, they showed 10 minutes of gameplay of that game.
Oh, okay. So what's it leading towards?
Oh, it's a third person shooter, but that you can stealth around.
Okay.
Like most of their games, and but you play this scoundrel, this a bit a Han Solo but female,
Yeah.
with this companion alien with you that you will be able to use to activate panels. Let's say because in the demo that they showed, you send that alien to activate a button, and then a crate is being brought, and you stealth around with that crate. That was super cool.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, that's kind of neat.
And so yeah, so once you can stealth kill people, and once you're discovered, well, you have your pistol, and you have like multiple modules that you can switch between to have different type of lasers. Uh, short range but more powerful that destroy shield, or longer range. You have a Gatling kind of gun laser. They're all laser guns.
Of course, Star Wars.
And yeah, and it's an open world as well, because
Okay.
you see the person running out, go on a speeder, drive away, and then being chased by these people that you can battle on your speeder with. That was cool as well.
Yeah, it's like 'cause in the trailer too, it
Then
showed a
you
few different worlds and like space battles and stuff like that. So I was kind of hoping it
Yeah,
would be open world.
yeah, it is. And you have also choices that they showed where in the story you bring back something, and then that Imperial is telling you, oh well, there's a tax you need to pay me, basically bribe,
Yeah,
and you can decide not to bribe or bribe. In the demo, they decide not to bribe, but then the whole Imperials went after them. So then they jump onto their ship, went into space battled before they hyperdrive into another galaxy. Well, not galaxy. I mean another system, solar system,
I see.
and that's how the demo ended. So really cool. I thought it. I was surprised. I was Ubisoft
Yeah,
to to be fair. Like I think they did a great job at showing that game.
I don't know if you feel the same way
And it looked
too.
like actual gameplay. It didn't look
Yeah,
like uh hyper. No, it didn't look like B-roll. It didn't look like they've added stuff to make it seem prettier or better. I'm referring to the Division showcase, when they showcased the Division, or when they showcased the first Watch Dogs, where
yeah.
it looked, next gen mind breaking. It didn't look like that. It looked like, next gen stuff, but accurate gameplay. So I appreciated that as well.
I say, I don't know how you feel about story wise, but when it comes to Star Wars, I kind of like when they branch out. You know what I mean? It's not just the main characters that you always get. Same with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings had a few games like that too, where they branched out. But yeah, like I don't know, like I love the Star Wars universe. I go for it. Like bring in all the characters you want. But I like when the story's like a completely different outlook. Kind of like how Fallen Order was. I don't know. I
Well,
just
I don't know. I don't know about the story, because they only showed one mission that you
no,
were
but I mean
doing.
like this is all new characters. Like we're talking, like obviously
Yes,
there's out.
yes.
Yeah, so I mean it's gonna be it's gonna be probably still in that same storyline, right? But like we're gonna have a totally different character to look at, not the same ones that you see in every movie and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're new characters, and what they showed seemed cool. There are. It is Star Wars, but it was a bit too quippy for my liking. During combat and all that, there were lines that just were annoying.
Oh, okay.
You know, no, during the ship they're being shot at, and then there's a robot telling you, "I have to tell you that we're in danger, we're being shot," and she's like, "I'm working on it," super sarcastic, and I don't know.
Every
It's
character is
just
Harrison Ford, basically.
well, it's just too creepy
Yeah.
to try hard. The dialogue and writing in the cinematics were good. It's all the ones that were outside of the cinematics, during combat, that was just a bit that fell flat. But at the end of the day, it's the game. When the game will be released, will tell if it's actually good or not. So
I agree. Hey, pizza. Oh, I know you're talking, but I don't know if it's a little quiet on your end.
yeah, no, it's super quiet.
I don't know if you're able to adjust it or not, Pizza.
Maybe. Well, there's a
No, it's still
uh,
still a bit quiet, buddy.
Wi-Fi with him. Oh, there it is. Oh, damn. There we go.
Is that it? Yeah, because I have mine on full blast, and I know you're talking. I can like barely hear your voice.
Yeah, same.
Let's see. Okay. How about now?
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's much
yeah,
better.
much better. Thanks, Pizza.
Oh no, that's fine. I don't know what's going on with Discord.
It was the same thing for me. It cut my audio right out, and then JW joined back in, and finally it reconnected. But yeah,
Okay.
we were
Oh,
kind of
that's
just
good.
taking over the chunk of games here. I posted in the general chat there if you open it up. We got through quite a bit of these already, but I don't know if you had any comments about the Xbox showcase or any games you wanted to touch on and share your opinion.
Mm, honestly, I mean, I'm gonna wait until I see more gameplay before I really like say anything
Yeah,
else because like I don't. I
That's
mean,
exactly how JW was saying.
um, yeah, like everything's fine. It's like it wasn't bad. It was just I gotta see just something else because I mean, if you want to play Starfield, then that's awesome. But I mean, I'll play the game, but I want to see more gameplay of just other stuff. 'Cause, it's like I kind of want to see how Fable looked because it looked like a really good.
Yep.
It had a really good, I guess, cutscene CGI trailer, but I want to see gameplay of that. And um, yeah, I don't know. I just maybe I just wasn't feeling it that day. But they had a lot of games to show, which is good. They
Yes.
had something to show us. But yeah, I just and to be fair though, I had the same opinion about every showcase. I had the same opinion about Sony's showcase, this year and even last time they did it, beginning of PS5. Like, I don't really have too much to say about it because like, show me some more gameplay and then, we'll we'll get going. Mainly just show me Fable and Avowed because, those are two games that's like if they had showed us something from there, it would have been like 10 times better.
Yeah, I was actually interested in that one, Pizza, because we were talking about it earlier, the difference between the Xbox and the PlayStation one. So even like with the PlayStation one that happened, you still felt like there wasn't like enough gameplay for the games that they listed.
Yeah, well, I don't want to count this year's showcase
Okay.
because really it wasn't even a good showcase. Like that was like if we were to compare the two,
Yeah.
Xbox did like Xbox did a million times better than PlayStation. That I think everybody could agree with that. Even if you're a fan of PlayStation, they didn't really do enough, and I just felt like it's whatever. But yeah, like I saw Spider Man, which I mean, you know, I don't think it helped because I'm not a big Spider Man fan. I like Marvel, but I mean, like I'm not like too big on that. So it really didn't get me like going. So it was.
I get that. No, I can understand that. Like it was just the one main game. Um, like I said, there was a lot of interesting like new IPs, like JW was saying though, for the PlayStation showcase. That like I said, it made me feel like oh man, I wish I had a PS5 to try some of these. But I do get what you mean. Like Xbox showcase did feel like there was like a big chunk of games. I mean, looking at the freaking list that we got here, right? Like there's just a lot to go over. Though some are on both platforms as well.
Yeah, but of course, sorry. it's just me. That is just my
No, no, no,
opinion
no.
on
I was curious.
Yeah,
you
Like,
it's
know.
fine.
But I
yeah,
know
I
that
want to hear your
you
guys'
know.
opinion on it, right? Because yeah, um,
Yeah, like if anyone listening to the podcast enjoyed the showcase, either one, and I'm glad you did, because they deserve to get some kind of praise because they did show off some really good stuff. And even though I don't really sound excited for these games, I know that when they come out, I'll be playing Starfield for hours on end because I like Fallout and I like Skyrim. So of course I'm gonna play the next, the Fallout in Space game. I'm gonna play that for sure.
yep.
And then whatever else comes out, around that time, I'm down for it. So I'm definitely ready for the game to come out, but I just gotta see something because trailers are cool, but I think after the whole, like after Cyberpunk happened, after Anthem happened, after Fallout 76 happened, I kind of stopped letting trailers like hype me up.
I'm with you. Like, it's been a long time since I've been like really excited over a game where I wanted to pre-order it or anything like that. Like, I don't know if it's just my opinions changed as I got older or what, or maybe it's just there's just so many games out there that like I still have games that I want to play that have been out for a few years or longer. But yeah, no, I feel you. Like, I'll like it. Like, I like the trailers, I like the games and all that, but nothing's like screaming at me where I'm like, okay, I have to fucking pre-order this and I have to play it
Well, I
day one.
mean, it's because AAA companies have been doing the same stuff for so many years now,
That's true.
to appeal to everyone that now it's just, you see stuff and then you you're sort of jaded about it because you're like, well, okay, well, it's another third person open world with towers, or it's another FPS with guns.
Yep.
It's and plus, like I said, the company, you're jaded because the companies bring out these amazing looking trailer, then the game comes out and it's completely broken.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's like, I mean, these companies, they have millions of dollars. They have millions, maybe even billions of dollars. I don't understand why. Really, I don't get why we can't just have the game done instantly. Because like if we if we were, or I guess not we, but like let's say that EA, if EA put as much time and effort into their games as they do all their marketing, all their promotion, we would be having probably five Battlefield games in less than 3 years, back to back to back, because they have over. I'm sure they have more than 1,000 people, maybe even 2,000 people working at that studio. Like if you like, they could easily make a whole slate of games for the whole year. But for some reason, it's like, you're right. Just how they make all these trailers and all these teasers. And I'm like, you know, knowing me, a teaser won't really do anything because it has to be something that is already like on my hype list, which is not many games anyways. And B, like you just saying, oh, here's the title of the game, like that doesn't really do enough for me because, we have seen I have seen plenty of games that have shown off a title and then it never came out and it just
I hate
became
that.
the dust.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's like,
like Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
oh yeah, exactly. And really, like I kind of stopped believing in these companies ever since PlayStation they stopped caring about their old IPs. Because I mean, like I get that people, they want to see more, they want to see more games from EA and all that kind of stuff. But I think the biggest slap in the face is really with, actually, PlayStation and Xbox, like they don't care about the legacy people. So it's like, you know, if you're not gonna tease games from the past, why should I care about games happening in the present? Like I am a big I like the classics. I like retro gaming. So it's like if they don't want to show me that kind of stuff, then I don't really care. Like if you just show me a teaser like Jack and Daxter or even Sly Cooper, then different story. But you know,
Well, the two problems is that, well, like you said, they don't care because it comes out completely broken, but people still buy it. The people still buy it, so they don't see why they need to repair everything before release, because they can't just patch it afterwards. And the second thing is investors. They promise investors to, let's say, it's going to come out in 2023, and that's their deadline because whatever deal they have with the investors. So
yeah,
those are the two big problems, which is why, I remember when I think, was it Battlefield? I think it was Battlefield that came out and, it didn't do well. And they had to explain to investors why it didn't do well. And they had to blame that it came out around the same time as Halo, even though it's not the same game. And one of them was more functional than the other. But, they didn't say that in their investor calls. It's all about investors' money, and if they don't need to repair it now, then it's fine.
yeah, and yeah, it was, it was, yeah, Battlefield. Was it the new Battlefield game, Battlefield 2042 that came out, and
Yeah,
they were blaming Halo. Like I don't understand why that matters because
it didn't.
yeah,
It,
plus like even Halo didn't come out fully ready. Like it was
Yeah.
still missing stuff. So it's like
oh yeah.
like that just it was a weird thing to blame it on. It's like they really don't. They they should know by now how to properly release a game. Like they've been doing Battlefield for decades now. I don't get how you can mess it up. You have all this, well, I guess leadership too, but it's like you have all this money, you have all this talent, you have all these fans who are ready to like, who are going to support you. Like you have plenty of reason to not screw it up.
Well, here it's a repeated thing in EA's company where they think they can crunch it and just think that they'll make the magic happen, even though they don't have enough time or enough people working on it or whatever. They think they can crunch it because there's a repeated thing there, especially with BioWare games, where they think they can just crunch it because it worked in the past. Which is why we've had Anthem, which is why we've had incomplete stuff. And I think these kind of behaviors is repeated in other companies as well, not just EA. And but yeah, no, there's scathing reports of just saying oh, well, we need to make changes on that like 2 months before release. Like it's insane.
Yeah, and like I know, like I was watching a whole bunch of videos about Call of Duty, and like there are a lot of people who are creators. They were kind of saying how, you know, if you want Call of Duty to change, you should vote with your wallet. But then the issue is that like they create content for Call of Duty, and so they even say, before the end of the video, like they're gonna keep buying Call of Duty because they make their money off of it. So I'm like, like those are the people who have the most sway because they're the most, like they're putting almost, they're putting over maybe $100 for like a whole special edition. So I'm like, and plus they're the ones who make all this fun content for games. Like there are some people on YouTube who do MW2, and like this, they always say how they want the game to change or whatever, but then they say they're gonna buy the Call of Duty game. So I'm like, you're not really telling us anything. You're just saying that you're gonna go out and forget about the protest. Like I have like like they have a job to do, so that's their excuse. Is that oh, I get paid by you to color Call of Duty games. Yet I don't want to play. Yeah, I want to have them protested. So it's just a weird thing, and like it's
Well, they're not
unfortunate.
putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they do all this talking, and it's not going to help because as long as you have the influencers who are still monetized, or like who are still supporting it, even on low key level, it's like it doesn't really help us. So it's just I hate to say that the protests don't work, but we have too many people out here who just do not know how to pretty much say no and walk away.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
know, I agree. I mean, it's the same with Assassin's Creed, right? Like I haven't like I don't buy them day one anymore. But there's a lot of people that still do because it's still around, right?
Yeah, and it's like I know for a fact that when Valhalla came out, I didn't buy it day one, but mainly because like it was my, I think it was my either second or first Assassin's Creed game, like buying out for the modern time, and so it's like, it's all right, but I bought it when it was half off. When I was playing it, I just, I felt like it was boring. It was just a chore to do,
Yeah.
and so like I only got Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3 because I was on Reddit looking. I was asking people on Reddit out. Like what game should I play that's fun in Assassin's Creed? And they're saying the trilogy. So I bought that in hopes that they weren't fanboys, and they were good games. So clearly, whatever they had back in the past, it worked so well. And I think that maybe they, like these people or the developers, or I guess not developers, but the publishers, they are banking on their past achievements, saying, oh, well, we make this great game. And of course, you have the people the content creators, the influencers, the fanboys who will keep defending it. And then, when it's time for them to want change, but out of nowhere, now it's just, oh, wait, no, it's just talking to a brick wall. And so, it's just, it's, it's kind of hard to really get people to understand that if you want a good game, you need to want the good game, which means that if something comes out and it's bad, or it's buggy, or it's something you don't want, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it. Even if you want to support the developers, you can support them by buying their older games. So, I mean, I don't think that there's a reason why well, I guess there is a reason why, but like there shouldn't be a reason why we're at this point in time where we're still getting shafted by EA and Activision and Ubisoft.
I was gonna say it sucks too, John, because you guys already hit the nail on the head with it. But like when you were talking about like having games like Sly Cooper, or like some of the older games that we would like to see remastered or remade, right? Like even a new Conker's Bad Fur Day or like something like that, right? We won't ever see those until it's proven that it's going to generate them a lot of money, and that's shitty, right? Because there's a lot of great games that would be nice to be remade, instead of just like
Oh yeah.
instead of like The Last of Us and all those other ones. Like I would have rather seen a lot of great PS2 hits.
Although Conquer can be remade today in today's climate, impossible to do without getting some backlash.
Exactly, yeah, that too, right? Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
when you're mentioning games, it's like yeah, there's so many good titles that they could pick from. That would be fun to play, like in new game mechanics and gameplay. It's too bad we won't see them. Well, at least not for a
That's
while.
the other. Actually, that's the other problem. They don't want to take chances, and they don't want to stick with something that they believe will work, right? Because I just said, well, we can't make Conquer in today's age because of the climate or whatever. I think when the video game industry was young, there used to be a thing where the company would despite the still make it and release it because it still made money, it still worked.
Yep.
Today it's different somehow. They don't want to. It's not safe. They don't want to ride the wave. They don't. It's just they they don't want to take the chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I get it, right? Like, it could be something as simple as like, forgetting, like having both a male and a female character, or like, or was that last one they had recently where the character turned out to be like a lesbian, and then like people got all upset over that
Oh,
too.
Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, like just dumb
That
shit
was
like that, right?
ridiculous. That was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
right. Like I say, like you're right. Like I mean, it's not just like one particular group. Like there's any kind of group out there could be
I don't
offended
know,
over
but
something.
because I usually I sometimes get it. When they say, well, this is supposed to be, let's say, I don't know, a war game, but for some reason now I'm following this gay couple for the rest of the game. It's out of context. It doesn't make sense, and it feels like pushing somewhat of a political agenda, right? When it doesn't feel like it fits. But in the case of Horizon, it was overblown, out of context. Plus, you had
Yeah,
two choices out of three to refuse the relationship, so it's very ridiculous.
yeah. I remember you were saying that. Yeah, that there was actually other choices that were along. So it's not like you were forced to make that decision if you really felt that strongly about it.
Yeah, and it wasn't the main part of the expansion. It was just part, a side part of doing your of you going through the expansion and getting to know the characters. It made sense for the expansion.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, John. I was just thinking about some older titles. I was like, damn, there's a lot of good choices.
Oh no, you're fine. I mean, I've been playing a lot of emulators lately, and I know I keep talking about it, but it's like, you know, I realized how far we have came from, back then where, we were in the golden ages of gaming where, we had all these great games on the PS1 and the PS2 and the Dreamcast and the GameCube. And just looking at how gaming is now where, like we have some good titles, we have GTA, which even though I'm not a fan of the new of GTA 5, we have quality games like that. We have
Yeah,
Ghost of Tsushima. We have, Last of Us. We have all of these games that they look good and they play good. But then, it's like if you look past all of those, there's really not a lot that's happening that is like, giving us that sense of, okay, like show us where you guys came from. And, like with Nintendo closing down their eShop, with Sony trying to close down PS3, it just shows me that like they're trying to kind of shut off the past. And I'm not. I like modern gaming, quote unquote modern gaming, but you know even I can only handle so much of the realism. I can only handle so much of the movie games, so I
Well, I
gotta
mean,
have.
they want to sell remasters and remakes because if you keep the old stuff alive, then it's going to be cheaper for you. They'll make less money.
Oh yeah,
that's very
definitely.
true.
And I wouldn't be. Oh, what's up?
No, I say that's very true.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't be against remakes or remasters. Oh, I wouldn't be against those if they are making remakes and remasters for games that I mean, yes, we had Resident Evil, we had that game, which is cool and all, but like there there's more to the past than Resident Evil 4. Like there were a lot of games that came out that same year and the years before. So why is that we can't get those? Because if they gave us remakes of the classic games, like if they gave us Jack and Daxter, a
Dino
remake or
Crisis. Dino
remaster,
Crisis.
yeah, like if they gave us that and they gave a real proper remake touch up to it, then different story. I would be a-okay with that because at least now they're understanding that there are people here who would much rather playing a game from the past. Because even I don't care about playing Last of Us, even though it looks nice. It's a movie. Like like I, I don't want to play on my P. I don't like I don't want to play a movie. I want to play a game. And if I can't do that, then it's like, what's the point? And I'm sure that there are people out here who may say, well, it's about it looks good. It has great history, whatever. I don't know, but like when how people say, well, it's a good looking game. Okay, that's cool and all, but like Anthem was a good looking game too. But that game was not. It wasn't fun because they didn't make it fun. They made it a photo gallery and not a shooting gallery.
Well, I think I see what you mean. Games used to be, you know, games. You had multiple lives. You had to do platforming. You had to do puzzles. You had to do stuff. And today, games seems to be more the way to go through the story than playing the story, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
maybe
like 10 minutes
maybe
of
it is just
gameplay will
me,
give
or
you.
maybe it's just us. Like we're so used to playing games that kept our attention, that made us, in like that got us involved in it. Nowadays, all the kids they just they want to play a game where they get to watch the characters play the game for them. Like that's last time I checked, that's not what a video game is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about you turning your brain off and you shooting people, fighting people, like doing everything, like, getting involved in the game, not just watching from afar and letting the game play for you. And, it's, oh, you know what? That, just how about it too. I was on Twitter the other day and um, there was this tweet about article from Bobby, like Bobby Clark, he's a CEO of Activision, and he was talking about how we're getting to a point in time where games are going to start playing themselves. And I'm thinking about that, and I just think that that is probably the worst scenario in my opinion.
Well, that's
Because like
just dumb. It's not a
Yeah,
game anymore. If everything is
exactly,
done automatically,
exactly,
like Vampire Survivors, I guess.
yeah,
Maybe, but I mean, but I'm not saying that I'm against. Well, I'm gonna say that. I guess I am against it. But it's like, when you say Vampire Survivors, I think that's the exception because even though it kind of plays for you, like there's still some type of entertainment factor to it.
Well,
But I
for sure,
mean,
it's a clicker type of thing where
yeah.
you're.
You're always
It's just
progressing.
insane to see what. Yeah, well, it's insane to see all the progress from 0 to 1 billion stuff on your character, right?
oh, definitely, yeah, and I mean, unless they want to do, like clicker games for all their stuff, which I don't know how you can do that. Then yeah, I don't see that model becoming attractive to me. But he's right. Like we're getting to the point now because people who are people who want to focus on the latest and greatest thing, people who are focusing on give us graphics, give us, like make the console do the work for us. Which I get that you can have those kind of games, but when you only want visuals, then you're going to get a visual only game. You're not going to get all of the in tune playing the game itself. Because like I mean, my favorite game of all time is that's I go guess Jack and Daxter. Like I mean that game, you can tell it looks like a PS2 game, but I would much rather play that for 8 hours a day than play something uh, like Last of Us. I'm sorry, guys. I don't focus on gaming nowadays. Well, I don't focus on the new games nowadays, and I'm sure there's like there's probably 100 games that look amazing, but I can't tell you one of them because I don't care about that stuff. I can tell you 100 games that came out on the PS1, 2, 3, and the Dreamcast, the Genesis. I can tell you all that stuff because that's where my I guess loyalty, I could say that's where it lies at now. And so I come from that area of the gaming generation where it's all about just having fun. You pick up a controller, you press play, and you start going at it.
I agree. I don't think there's enough like I guess they're like arcade kind of games, like arcade style. Um not to hype it up again, but like how Agents of Mayhem, right? You could no no, but like I miss that feeling. Like you said, like, you just pick up the game and it's just fucking stupid. Like you just go in there, you're shooting stuff, you're racing around the world or you're platforming in that area, whatever concept it has to it, right there. I think the 360 was one that I like. Well, 360 and PS2 that had quite a few of those kind of games in their library. And you're right, like there isn't much of that nowadays. Now everything is a big cinema scene. Whereas before, right, I think back to what you were saying there, JW, that's what kind of got me hyped in RPGs was the RPG games were the ones that had the nice cinema scenes, right? And like you're progressing and going forward, and they stood out because there wasn't too many of them released throughout the year. We're now like everything's released like that, and we're not getting very many platformers or arcade style. The most recent one, honestly, I can think of is Cuphead. Cuphead would be the most recent modern game I can think of where you got to do that style that you're describing, pizza.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know if you would count Cuphead as an indie game, but I think
Not indie, but like arcade style. Where
Yeah,
you're
but
doing a
it is
shooter.
indie. Yeah,
oh, it is.
yeah.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah, because I mean, because I wanted to, I want to use them as a example of how indie games and of course arcade games, like those are becoming more of the safe zone nowadays. Because at least when I go on Steam, I go to the indie section and I'm seeing so many games that you know I could start playing those games for hours on end, because like I have Modern Warfare 2 installed on my computer, which I'm going to get rid of anyways tonight because I'm not going to play it anyways. But like there's a game that I was just not playing. Let me show what it was called. It was like it was a platforming action shooting kind of game. It was it's it's like a futuristic Mirror's Edge with shotguns, and I'm like,
Ooh,
this is
okay.
Oh,
a
is it
fun game. Like that's a
what
game
is
that I
it?
can end up playing all the time. But of course, it's an indie game, so unfortunately, it's not well known. But I think that indie games are becoming the new standard for people who like the retro, who like the arcade, who like the past, where it was all about gameplay.
Is it
And
Severed Steel?
what's up?
Severed Steel?
Oh yeah, Severus Stone. There's another one that came out too. Let me see. Let me see
Yeah,
how
that's
old.
great.
Oh, there was a. There's a. Well, I mean, this one kind of just came out. It was. Let me see. It was like Soul something. I should know it by now. Oh, sorry, System Souls. Like that's a game that came out. This game came out. Mm, I think what? Well, it came out recently. I'm not sure what day, but it came out. Oh yeah, it came out this week.
Oh,
You know
okay.
that. Yeah, like that's a game that just came out recently. And then, yeah, sorry, yeah. So it was Server Still that came out. It was another one too, Turbo Overkill as well. Those are games that like they kind of follow the Doom kind of formula, which yeah, I guess some people could say, well, we had Doom Eternal, so they can make the argument that there are some modern games that are appealing to us, but like we haven't had a Doom game since Eternal, and I mean, when did the last DLC come out?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like that's kind of where we are. What's up?
No, I said you're right. It has been a while actually since we had anything from the Doom franchise.
Oh yeah, I mean, like yeah, like let's see. So Doom Eternal came out in 2020, so it's been 3 years since we had another Doom game, which, I'm sure that someone might say, well, you don't need Doom every single year, but we get Call of Duty every single year. And we have seen the last few Call of Duty games. They came out buggy, they came out messy, they came out boring. And so, people, they want to turn to these one offs like Doom and saying, well, modern gaming has it. But then, after they release it, now it's back to now it's back to, oh, look at this movie game. So I don't buy it. I don't think that modern gaming has gotten. I don't think they understand where we're coming from on this podcast. I think that to them, we're just a bunch of old people who are, like, like this, you know, yelling at you little kids that got along, that kind of thing. But
Oh,
it's like,
definitely. We're not the target audience.
yeah, and it's like, and I'm not saying that we have to be a target audience, but they should know that there are people out here who would give them a lot of money because I am serious though. Like, for me, if they gave me a remake of a classic game that I like playing, I will buy it. I'll buy it on my Xbox, I'll buy it on Steam, and I'll buy it on whatever else. Because it's like that's the game I want to see. And there's a lot of us who want that. It may not be it may not be dropping a bucket to the mainstream audience, but they're still there. They're still there. So I think that giving us something, like just giving us a little something, just to have us kind of quiet down, that's okay. Like I don't want it to be, like where it's you give us something and we'll kind of just lay low. But at this point in time, I'm okay with with you giving us a remake of a game every few years. Because at least then like they own the IP, they have all this money to do. They can throw a few games out there for us and then go back to pandering.
I agree. Like you said, there's some games I get why they can't remake because of licensing and all that. But like simple games like Sly Cooper, like there is no reason. Like just release a new one. I feel you.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys
yeah.
remember or not. Like I always forget to ask everyone this. But do you remember when the 360 actually had like that indie tab, like the indie marketplace? I thought that was so stupid they took that away. That was such a cool little feature. You could get like
Oh,
any
for sure.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like fuck, man, I got so many good games from that, and they were all so dirt cheap too. Like it was such a great idea. It's a real shame that the Xbox One didn't include it.
Yeah, I don't understand that because, it's like they seem to be, like they seem to be really on top of it too with the indie scene on the 360. And so, it just seems kind of weird that,
Yeah,
like they were just they were kind of, you know, pulled away from us because that's kind of really where, people may have started to really enjoy playing on the console, like playing an indie game because maybe there was someone back then who just did not like playing all these modern AAA games, and they want, I mean, even though 360 had amazing games, you know, sometimes you just get tired of playing the same thing over and over again. So understandable, and that's where indie games come in, where they kind of fill, they kind of fill that gap, and they make you, they remind you why you enjoy gaming until you get back to playing modern gaming, of course. So yeah, I don't get why they took it down. I don't think I can say it didn't hurt Xbox, but it would have helped them a lot more to just have it back on there because I mean, like, you know, even though I play my Series X often, even on Game Pass, I'm playing, like I was playing this game called Phantom Abyss, and that's an indie game. It's an indie game that's not really well known, but I'm playing that game back and forth because like that's something that interests me, and it's something about it just keeps me interested. And I know that once Starfield comes out, even though I want to play the game, I still have fans. I have indie games on my Xbox I'm going to play as well. So, you know, that's just me though. I think that they're kind of missing out on the indie scene.
Yeah, it's too bad Game Pass didn't take that approach. You know, just basically take what Xbox 360 had, that marketplace, but then make it into a Game Pass version. Um,
You know,
I still would have paid to play on Game Pass just to experience all those different kind of games.
oh, definitely. And I know that you can play games like Conquer on Game Pass, which is cool. I
Yep.
I am okay with that, but it's like I think that if more companies followed suit, that would be amazing. Because it's like even though like they have a few games from Rare, they have Conquer, they have Banjo Kazooie, they have Perfect Dark, but like what if somebody grew up playing Nintendo like NES or GameCube or Dreamcast or not Dreamcast game what's the other one the 64 like what if people grow up playing that or the PS1 or PS2 games like it can't just be Xbox kind of picking up the pieces because the thing is that I don't know who here had an OG Xbox but like um well sorry, sorry yeah I don't know who had that, or I don't know who else had a PS2 or both of them. So it's like, there are games on both systems that we want to see. And so, kudos to Xbox for doing it. Now I want to see other people take them as an example and give us, like just give us something.
Yeah, like Nintendo has that membership you could get that I have right now, where it's like $5 and you get a hand picked regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and what's the other one? Game Boy games. But then they jump and they go to fucking like $99 a year to get the expansion pass, and you get like the N64. I think it's Sega Genesis as well added on, and sorry, and the Game Boy Advance. But then again, right? It's hand selected games, not like you get that entire library.
Well, I mean, you could just emulate it as well.
You could, yes, that's
Okay.
true. You're true.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But I mean,
I
if you're talking like the company itself making something, like yeah, it's a
Well,
shame that they don't do.
they could do that. They could, they did in the past with the mini Super NES and all that. They could just
Oh yeah,
bring
good
out
point.
emulators and sell emulators as a software or,
yeah,
whatever as a mini console, but, with all the games and not just a selected few.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
yeah,
just it doesn't make money, that's all.
yeah. I mean, like I wish, and it's crazy because it's like these companies they make so much money that I don't think they realize how much they're not losing by giving us the entire slate of their old like their old games. Because it's like PlayStation makes enough money to where they could give away, they can give everybody like a PSP. I don't know. I just like they could give us something that kind of they can give us money at this point and still have money left over. Like I don't think that they understand how much of these old games have an impact on their newer games. Like without Jack and Daxter, they wouldn't have Uncharted or Last of Us. So it's like they should keep these older games as an example of where they came from, and they can do that by putting them on PS Plus, making another mini console, or just making it free. Like I don't mind emulating. I don't really care about the whole piracy thing. Like that's whatever. But it's like if Sony made it official, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Because it's like it
Yeah.
shows me that they care. Like people talk about emulation, about piracy, whatever, about getting those things for free. But I don't. It doesn't hit the same because it's like these are people who are not part of Sony or Xbox who care about these games. It's not Sony or Xbox doing it out of their kindness. And so for me, it's like I enjoy playing these old games, but I can tell you one thing. If Sony gave me these games to buy, I would feel a lot more pleased with myself because now I feel like they're listening to us.
But that's the stupid paradox they create for themselves. They say often, "Oh, we want to fight piracy," so then they put DRM systems and stuff to make it harder to pirate. But all it does is instead that the pirators, the one that puts the game to pirate, take a couple of weeks to crack it and put it, on Pirate Bay, it takes a couple of months instead. It still get pirated. Everything is hackable. If they would just, sell it, there wouldn't be as much pirating for sure. Like there would be a super drop of it. But no, they keep, wanted to put it in online servers and just make it way so you can't access it, so you'll have to potentially repay it through a subscription or through whatever. But you know it's just they're going backwards on how to tackle the piracy problem.
Very true.
Yeah, it's a shame, But I mean, until then, like I have my Steam Deck, my PC, I have my emulators ready to go. So I'm not losing sleep, but in the off chance that someone from Sony is listening to the podcast for any reason, you know, just so you guys know, if Sony were to, or you know, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, if they were to, kind of think about the past and think about what made them so great, and give us something from there, then they have already done more than enough, because now they're keeping in touch with everyone, the legacy gamers, the modern gamers, little kids, like they have everybody already hooked on them. So
but,
that's my 2 cents on it.
but that's the thing though, right? They don't know how what made it that great before, because the people that are running these companies, these companies, they weren't there all those years back. It was other people, other creative minds, that started it all.
Yeah, and it's crazy how like these people who run the companies, like they're probably twice our age, so they have like they probably played these games when they were a kid, and so it's like how's it that you are at this point in time where you remember the PlayStation 1, but you don't care about bringing it back to the to play like that. That just seems kind of weird to me, that like you would purposely ignore the golden days in efforts of giving us the new and shiny thing, which it just seems kind of weird.
Well,
And
I don't know who I don't know who is in every position in every company, but I know in these positions, in the management upper uh, positions, they are mostly finance people, business people, more so than gamers. Or you know I mean, there are, but the all these people that are gamers are more like creative directors, right? They're not management, they're not the
Yeah.
money people.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the
that is
sad part.
true, and oof, it definitely is just something that maybe one day there'll be this dynamic shift where people who are making the games decide to break off and do their own thing. But of course, like I have seen developers do their own thing and they fail because they don't have management skills. But of course, with the managers, like they're just they are these people who they're the people who think that gaming is lame. Like that's who they need to lead them. Because I don't know, I can't say I don't know anyone, but like I'm sure that me, you, JW, or even Michael, we could do it. But it's like we don't have, apparently, even we don't have the credentials to do so. Like all we're just people who are doing a podcast. Like that's kind of what our title is to the suits up in corporate. But like we're gamers and we know what people want, because like we're talking about right now, we know what people want. And so you know if it was us doing it, different story. But unfortunately, yeah, with most of the developers, they don't understand the whole publishing side of things, and so they need these people who are lames to do it for them. And of course, those lames, they make bad decisions, and then of course, we get a game that just sucks. And then of course, when the game sucks, it falls on the developers, because apparently, gamers nowadays, they don't understand that, it's not the people making the game who are at fault. They're just doing their job. It's the ones who are pushing the game out and saying, "We want this, we want that," because they think that that's what people want. Like for example, with Horizon, like how they wanted to push out all this LGBT stuff. They think that they're gonna buy the game, when I don't know a single person who is gay, lesbian, whatever. Like I don't know anyone of those people who bought Horizon. So it's like, what's the point? You wasted your time trying to pander to people who don't care about your game.
That's the unfortunate part too is as long as you got these big companies like Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo as well, right? Like buying out a lot of these other companies, you're gonna lose that more and more in the long run, right? Like you're saying, there won't be those indie or independent developers making all those big decisions about their game. It's gonna become more and more about the big leagues, right? Making the final decision and choice. Like it's exciting. It's good that those companies are getting support, but they're someone's also pulling the puppet strings in the same breath.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure the deal for it still hasn't passed, right? The deal with Xbox and Activision.
Yeah, like there is a few, right? But I mean, they have bought up some, so I'm just saying it's unfortunate, right? Like they
Sure,
won't.
but my point being, and I think I read this in an article that the FTC in the US, they want to bring Microsoft to court over these dealings that they've had, not only this one, but the one in the past with Bethesda and others, about preventing monopoly and facilitating competitive market and all that. So maybe in the future it won't. Maybe there won't be so many companies being bought up. Maybe it will change
Yeah,
because
that'd be
of that
nice.
deal. It would be interesting. I don't know what the future holds, because there's something like that that's been done in the past. Not for in the I think 1990s or in the 2000s with Microsoft, but with something completely different, not gaming.
Oh, okay.
Where it all like they almost separated Microsoft and broke them, but so there might be a repeat of this in the future, is what I mean. So we don't know what the future holds in the end.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
sorry, I was gonna give a quick little shout out to Hey Sleepy. Sorry, I saw you pop on before. I didn't get a chance to just shout you in.
I was eating dinner. My voice is not there. But hi, sorry, I was having connection issues. So I
Oh,
I
no
fixed
worries.
it.
It's been an issue for most of us apparently today, except for JW. His hasn't been bad.
Oh, I'm connected with a cable, so
Oh, I don't know if you had any thoughts, Sleepy. We're kind of just going through the list of games, and we got a little sidetracked. But that's okay. But was there anything on the Xbox showcase or any of the games that were announced that kind of caught your eye and you were excited over?
Not if I'm being completely honest, I haven't like really kept track on what's happening currently because I like been so busy with family.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I
So
get it.
My
Um,
brother and my nieces are here from LA, so if you hear a little girl in the background, she comes in my room, so that's her.
no worries. Um, and then you did a little bit of streaming too recently.
Yeah, I've been so I might be streaming a little bit tomorrow. Probably like 2 SBT time, 2 o'clock SBT time. In the afternoon. Just because I can't really stream tomorrow at 12 because my brother needs me to help um my sister-in-law with my second niece. Oh, and I had to put that off a little bit. Also I just been messing around with my games to see how my internet I guess goes with it. So
I feel you. I'm still waiting for my upgrade to come in. I have to talk to that person again and see what the hell's
yeah.
going on.
Unfortunately, that's not my choice. That's my mother's choice. Um, but I told her I'll help her pay for it. Like, because I am using it to
Of
stream
course.
too. But she just want to take me up on that deal yet. So I'm like, God damn. Um, but yeah, no, it's I. So if anyone hopped in my stream the past few times, I apologize for the extreme lag. That's just my internet being booty. So mindful, I apologize when you hopped in.
Oh,
it,
please,
it was
God,
so
no. Like,
bad.
fuck, for the last 5 months I had choppy audio. Don't even worry about it. Like, I feel
Yeah,
ya. It's been frustrating.
yeah, but like I had a new follower, which is great, and he completely made fun of me for it and was enjoying me being bullied by my friends, which is at the end of the day, that's my goal as a streamer. Um,
You get
I had
bullied.
someone come, yeah, get bullied. But I also had this person who was I don't know if it's a person or is an actual bot, but this person was new to streaming and basically self-promoted on my channel, on my Twitch, in my chat. So I'm like, okay,
Oh, that's the
like
best. That's just the best.
yeah, and then like and they gave me a follow, and then like I just didn't have the time to show my support and give them a follow yet because I just been so busy with everything.
But
Um,
would you want to check his content before following?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm on check his or their VODs to see if we could actually vibe and you know
I'm not even
Because
gonna
I,
but
I
lie.
get
I,
definitely
I get
yeah
annoyed by that where they just I'm not streaming per se, but I've had let's say in the Discord or whatever, uh, check my YouTube and subscribe, blah blah, and all that, and like without even saying a hello or anything, it's just promoting, and I don't know, it's just it it annoys me. I mean, let me check your content maybe first.
yeah, yeah, no, I agree with
yeah
that.
yeah no I they they have my respects already because instead of like hey I'm new to streaming give me a follow right it's more like hi it's just like a basic hi I'm new to streaming um and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, at least he said hi first, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I used to
um,
just follow anybody back that followed me, but now, yeah, I try to be a little more selective now. Because you're right, like you don't have time to check out every single person. So if it's content I'm not even gonna watch, like what? Wow, why? What's the point?
yeah, so I just haven't really had the time to uh check anything out. So I mean, I barely even have time for my own Twitch, for my own streaming right now. Just my Twitch, my internet, not my Twitch, but my internet is just complete other booty. So it's yeah, and then I've been trying to like update Genshin. I've been trying to re-download a old, not old, but like a game, MR. I can't even think of it right now. I'm so brain dead. But it's a game I played a while back, and I'm trying to re-download it now. Just as fun. It's similar to Genshin,
Okay.
but more action based. Like it's more like there's actually a storyline to it. Um, but it has a more of I don't know how to describe it. And then I've been playing games on my phone, which I am addicted to this game on my phone currently. Um, I don't know. It's based on off a anime. I don't know if you guys watch Sword Art Online or SAO. Um, but it's based on that, and it's really fun, super fun
Okay.
for
I
me.
used to watch that Sword Art Online.
Yeah, they have a mobile game of it, and I've been like addicted to it. It
Nice.
kind of follows the anime a bit too, but there's a few changes that what I've seen that you should do. So yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool. That's what's up, though.
Well,
Anime is always good for you. It's like soup. It's always good for you.
That's true. That's true.
well, I was gonna
I
say
know
that.
that there was a game that dropped out. Well, I don't know when it dropped, but I think it was. I don't know if it's called Honkai or Honkai, the Star Rail game, and I'm like, it looks all right. So maybe I'll give that a try. I'm
I
guessing
know
it's
what
like
game you're talking about too.
yeah,
Pizza.
I'm
I know
guessing
who
it's
you.
like
I know what. Yeah. It
because I
has
don't know if it's like
a.
oh, so,
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, you're fine. I was gonna say I don't know if it's like a Genshin, like a stepbrother to Genshin
Yeah.
or whatever, but
I was about to say that it has a very Genshin feel to it, or what I've seen. It has a very Genshin feel to it.
yeah. So I mean, I'll just try it out, see how it is. Cause I mean, it's free, and I think it's on Steam too. I'm not sure, but I'll give it a try and see how it is. It might be fun. It might be actually worth me going and just kind of no lifing it for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's-
I want to download it, but my phone has literally no space. Just my phone is booty
Oh,
right
it's a
now.
phone game. Well then,
Oh, yeah. You to play on phone too.
yeah, that's cool. One day I won't. One day when I get into mobile gaming, I'll look into it.
It's the same thing with Genshin. You to play Genshin on your phone as well.
All
just
right.
just get a Chromebook. You'll have no choice but to play mobile games. That's what my world is right now.
Honestly, that what pushed me to like hurry up and like get my PC because I when I get from work I want a game, like I don't
Yep.
I don't like I love watching anime. Don't get me wrong, like I enjoy laying down and watching anime, but at the same time like now that I have my PC here, I'm like, oh, I want to play some Valorant. I want to rank up. I want to do this. I want to do that. So.
I totally get you. There's nothing like gaming.
Yeah, especially a long day of work. Ooh,
Which
Right.
it's a nice de-stress.
which I was gonna say, being next on the list, this was the game that actually I got pumped over was Clockwork Revolution. I don't know if you
Oh
guys
yeah,
watched that one. Yeah.
that was one of the games that got me excited. Actually, it looked cool.
At first when it came on, I was like, "Is this another Bioshock Infinite?" Like I
Yeah,
was
it is
just,
very Bioshock Infinite. I was wondering that as well.
but yeah, like yeah, it just I don't know. I love that style. I love that old school music and stuff. So that one really clicked with me right away. I'm very excited to try that one out. Actually, that might be okay. That might be my lie in this whole entire thing. Maybe I actually will make that a day one purchase.
My favorite bit of that Xbox thing was the Like a Dragon
Oh
cinematic.
yeah,
Like I don't like these games. I'm not into these games. I wish like I wish I was, because it seems to be funny. There seems to be so much, but at the same time, I don't know. I can't get into this type of game. But seeing that like a dragon thing where he comes out on the beach naked and the keeps having different stuff hiding his part, people running around and all that. That was one of the funnest bits I've seen in a while in these sort of showcase E3 type of thing.
Very true. Yeah.
Made me want to know more, even though I don't want to play it.
Well, I think it was you too, Pizza, and I know Jimmy's tried to convince me a few times to play the Yakuza series, so I am interested in them. Like, I do definitely want to give them a try. They kind of remind me of, like, I guess a different, well, a funnier version of Shenmue. Um, yeah, I do want to try them out.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, it's from what I'm kind of getting at. Yeah, it is kind of it's just it's like a gang, like a mafia style Shenmue game. 'Cause, like everything,
Yeah,
everything happens in real time. It's a lot of walking, a lot of talking to people. It's like it's just like playing like just I don't like just a regular old person who just fights people, that kind of thing. But it's fun. It just it's just there's a lot to do in the game. Like I mean, like just from the side content while I'm doing it, and of course with the main content, it's just you need to have a lot of time to just kind of watch the cutscenes and talk to people, do chores, walk around. So I mean, it is an acquired taste, like, and I think
yeah,
that's the real reason why it never came to the West, until like recently, because it's like, people, people in the West, they don't really care about all of that stuff, So of course that's why we don't, we're not going to get all the nice Yakuza other games because unfortunately, there's not a market yet for it, even though I like it. I enjoy it, and really, we're kind of seeing Final Fantasy. We're seeing Final Fantasy come back to to the West because now people enjoy JRPGs now. So
oh yeah. Well,
it's
look when Shenmue 2 came out, right? Like it was such a huge like hype for the people that played that game, but whenever 2 came out, it didn't really smash any records. Like, not many people purchased it.
oh yeah, yeah, not at all. So it's like you had to enjoy the first one, and
Yeah.
enjoy all of the other games. All the other Japanese style games too. Like sorry, the Japanese. I don't know, like when they came out to Japan, they didn't enjoy those ones as well. So that's kind of why there's not a market for it, which is a shame because, like these are some really well. Again, I guess for me, like someone like JW, like clearly, we kind of see that he's got the market for it, and so, you know, there are a lot of people like JW who don't play the game, which is cool. Like it's not their game, no big deal. Like that's how it is. So, like unfortunately, there's not enough push for it. So that's and that's kind of that it's really why we're getting Final Fantasy 16 because I feel as though if nobody cared about that game, it would never come over here.
True. Yeah. I agree.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth just kind of looking at it for like maybe a few minutes and then just kind of say, okay, that's cool, like just to see the funniness of it. But yeah, you have to enjoy those kind of games to really play it because if you don't in the slightest, you'll never touch it.
I mean, okay, so I had Jimmy's choice. He told me to start with 0. Because like you gotta start from the beginning if you're gonna start anywhere. But just curious, Pizza, if you could give someone like a choice, like which Yakuza game would you say that they should try if they're gonna give it like their first experience?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, zero is a pretty fun game. It is of course it is a starting point of course as well. But you know, um, if you want to have like sort of like more modern-ish graphics, physics, like have the game feel a lot more fluid, I would say start with Kiwami 2 because that
Oh,
game,
okay.
because like it has the new engine, it has a lot more seamless fighting, a lot more like and like the quest of it, everything just feels a lot more smoother than in Zero. So if you want to go for the story, I would say do zero because actually, except Yakuza Zero has the best story because like you know it's a very emotional one compared to Kiwami One and Two. You know, Kiwami Two is pretty much just a fighting game. You know, like every cutscene turns to a fight, and so it's like if you want action, play two. If you want story and like actual like good story, like I mean, I was actually I wasn't crying, but like there are moments where you could feel the tension, and of course like with
Wow.
that all the fight scene, like all the fighting, it felt way more impactful. It felt like I was fighting for something. And so, if you want the emotional investment, play zero. If you just want to fight people and bash their heads in, play two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then yeah, that's really some cause like Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and really 3, 4, and 5, like they're just like they're there. Like those games they kind of lean into the side characters more often. So if you want to do that, then cool. Yakuza 6 is it's just it's not a bad game, but it's just a game where it's a lot more low down.
Okay.
It's more about you exploring, like just having fun in the city. Um, but yeah, yeah. So Jimmy's not wrong with zero. I just I think that if you just want to have fun, play two.
And then I was gonna say, speaking of games with sequels, what'd you guys think of Payday 3? I don't know. For me, it didn't really hit me. I mean, none of them really have.
I
And
mean,
this one,
it looked like Payday 2 expansion pack.
yeah, right. Like I don't know. it didn't even look like I don't know. The graphics didn't stand out or anything like that. Like, man, it's not important to me. But like in the same breath, I looked, I was like, man, it looks just like a 360 game. Like I'm not
Well,
really.
yeah, because the difference between 1 and 2 was very big in all aspect, and now the difference between 2 and 3 is nil. Like there's nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
I'm
maybe
ready
new
for it.
mechanics or whatever, but I mean, it didn't
Yeah.
really show in the trailer. They just show oh well, now you have the turret. Okay, you know,
I
sounds
kind of
like a
figured it out.
DLC.
I was like, is that like the biggest selling point that you can have a turret now? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I was on Steam, like looking at the comments, and like it's like it really is a 50-50 over there because like the people who enjoy Payday are happy because it's just more Payday too. I mean, like I
yeah.
know that when the game drops, I'll buy it. 'Cause, like I love playing Payday just because it's a fun little time waster or a time killer. So I'll play the third one for sure. But of course there are people who have legitimate concerns saying that hey, like for example, like there was stuttering in the trailer. It's like there was lag in there. The
Yep.
graphics were
Oh,
not good. So like yeah, like people they had good reasons to kind of push back on that. So I can see both reasons and both sides of it. I just know that since I enjoy the game and I know that they're going to be committed to it, I'll buy it. And then of course when they fix the game, well, sorry, not fix, but like when they make it beautiful, then I'll like, hey, money well spent. But as a core gameplay person who enjoys the game, I'll play it just for that. Like no big deal.
I was gonna ask because like I've never played a Payday game, right? So like, is that like all the concept is? Is like it's a co-op four-player, like you're just going into a bank, you're robbing it, and you're just trying to escape, or is there like an actual story behind it, or?
No, no, it's like you said, it's a co-op heist game, which is a really
Okay.
well-made co-op heist game. It's not no small feat what they've done. Like there's nothing like Payday out there.
So I'm missing out then. And like out of the characters you get a pick out of then, is it like everyone is like a different style like they're going in with? Like some of them are for assault and some of them are for
Well,
like
I mean,
hacking.
you can equip what you want, and there are gears that you can buy to, you know, um, better
Oh,
rob
okay.
or to go faster, or basically your goal is to rob without setting off the alarm. But it's quite hard to do that. So often it will set off. It'll depend on the difficulty as well, and who you're playing with, I guess. but there's all sorts of mechanics to play with that are very fun, and which
Okay.
no other game have. That's the biggest selling point, I think, for Payday, is that it's a heist game like no other, really. There's no, it's original in what they do.
Okay. So if I was to pick though, so number 2 would probably be the best one to start with, then I'm guessing, because you were saying there was a big difference between 1 and 2.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I was just curious about it because, like I said, I never really played it myself.
But I would play with a friend, though. Playing alone or with randoms is can
Terrible.
be horrible. Yeah.
I would,
Um.
yeah, I would say
Sorry,
more
Pizza. Go ahead.
because the console version of Payday 2 has been pretty much abandoned. Like
Oh.
yeah, like it's like I mean like they had the Prime Wave update, which is not bad. It's not bad. But, it's like like for PC, they're like five, no, not five. They're like 4 updates ahead of us on the console. So it's like, yeah, don't even bother with the console version because like when Payday 3 comes out, it'll be abandoned too. I can already
Yeah,
tell.
I forgot to mention this. Playing on
Wow.
PC, yeah, for that. But also, I played Payday 2 on PS4, and it crashed every time I would do the PlayStation button. And
That's crazy.
they never fixed that, and it's riddled with similar bugs on the console ports. So don't trust the console ports of Payday.
That's disappointing. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Um.
just gotta get a PC now. I mean, luckily,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Just gotta invest
I
in
don't know
that
if it's
next.
I don't know if it's cheaper over there in Canada. It probably isn't. It's probably more expensive to get
No.
it.
No, I was telling I can't remember what was last time. Oh, Jimmy. He was telling me some of the prices that he had in the States, and then I would tell him like the price in Canada. It was usually like $10 more, $20 more. Um, Consoles got really outrageous. It was like in the hundreds.
Yeah, and
Oh,
that
sure, but PC lasts longer than consoles. My PC is probably
True.
like 10 years old, and it's only now that I'm starting to think of upgrading it. So, compared to a PlayStation console where every 3 to 5 years you have to change it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true.
I mean, if you really want to, like you can probably find somebody who lives in the States and have them pretty much buy the computer over here and then ship it out to you because really it's cheaper to just have some, yeah, it's cheaper just to buy it in the States and ship it out because at least then like it's not as much money.
That's true.
I'm
That's
sure
actually
as
really
well.
smart.
I'm sure as well there are services in Canada where they would build a PC for you with the specs that you want.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh yeah,
never
yeah,
really thought
yeah,
of it
yeah.
that way too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they do. I think it's still that like he'll be paying the Canada prices, which I mean, unless they have like regional pricing over there, which I doubt they do. Because I mean, that's above the pay grade. So I mean, now if they do, that's awesome though. Like if you can find a PC building place that charges you like universal prices, then yeah, definitely. But I mean, I know I saw a 3060 at Best Buy for 300, and that's
No, don't
USD.
don't buy don't buy in the local stores or whatever. They're always overpriced. Always.
Yeah, that's mostly what I was looking at first. I was like, holy shit, some of these are outrageous.
They're all outrageous. If you go like on Amazon or pick your parts type of site where you can pick the parts and build a PC virtually to give you an idea of how much it would cost and all that, it will give you a much better pricing.
Okay. Pick Your Parts, you said was the site?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that one out then.
Yes, well, so like let's see, you can go on places like so. There's a place called Newegg. You can build a PC over there, and
Yes.
they have all right prices. Like it's not marked up too bad. It's all right. You have them. You have I think it's called PC Part Pick. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's at that site as well. And then I and of course Amazon. I don't know what else you guys might have that are like based in Canada. So I know we have Epicenter over here, but I think that's only U.S. based
Yeah.
store. So Yeah, I don't know how much you could do, but yeah, I mean, if you could find it online, which I'm sure you can. I mean, even eBay maybe. I mean, actually, I think yeah, eBay. Well, eBay is that's kind of a last resort, just because like sometimes with people when they buy PC parts, you know, it may have been burnt out, it may have been shorted out, it may break during shipping. So, like
Yeah.
you know, that's if you really want to have it like done, like have it cheap, like cheap, then try it on. Then of course, pray that it doesn't break on the way out. Which I mean, now to be fair, I bought my graphics card on eBay like during COVID, so like I got it for cheap, and I was like, oh man, I don't know, I don't trust it, because like I have people on YouTube saying that it's like it's a gamble, it may come out broken, whatever. So when I got mine, it worked fine. So I mean, it really
Well,
does
I mean,
depend on that.
eBay has, it's because eBay, when it started off, it was pretty much a big gamble and mostly stuff that weren't working. But over the years, I think it's gotten way better. Like uh, I've I've went through eBay multiple times with no problems at all. So I just think it's a reputation that has stuck to them that isn't true, or as true as it once was.
So maybe, I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't bought another GPU since 2019, and that's been because like the one I have right now, it can still play all these modern games at 60 FPS, so I'm fine. But of course, now that COVID has passed and the prices are kind of calmed down some, I can go to my local Best Buy and buy a 3060 for 300, which is actually a really good price compared to what happened when it first launched out. So, if I need to upgrade, I can do it a lot easier. But yeah, I don't know. I would never buy. I would never. Well, no disrespect to you, Michael. I would never buy from Canada because those are some high prices.
I feel you.
Like
I
it
was
might
just
be like,
remembering.
oh, what's up?
I was gonna say I just remember my first eBay experience. I actually bought 4 Magic cards off, and okay, we're talking like 15, almost I don't know, close to 20 years ago. But anyway, I bought these Magic cards off a guy. I did the money order and everything, and like my mom, was able to help me out with it, and she tracked that the guy cashed it, right? And we asked him like, well, "What the hell? Where's the cards? Like you're supposed to send them." He's like, "Oh, he didn't put like what you were paying for." I was like, "So you just took the money? Like, you asshole, send me the cards." Like it's obviously what I was purchasing. But yeah, it used to be terrible back in the day. But you're right, JW. It's changed a lot since then.
That's a shame that people would. Although I guess I'm not surprised. But yeah, that's just like I feel as though those kind of guys they're not on eBay anymore because that would be
Yeah.
it would be hard to like have them kind of like. But who knows? I'm pretty sure that maybe they had one of these jokers running in corporate doing these scams, which you know,
It's true. You never know.
it's
Um,
ironic. But I'm glad it's changed for the better, though. That's good. That's good that it's finally getting better for you guys.
as I say, I never played these games. But I don't know if you guys have. What'd you guys think about the new Persona games? So there was Persona 3 that I think was remaster, right? And then Persona 5 Tactics. The Tactics one looked kind of interesting from the trailer that I watched, but
It's fun.
yeah.
I just heard Persona, like it's fun.
Like I said, I've never
I just,
tried them, but I know they get a lot of hype.
yeah, no, Persona games are so fun. I actually want to play a few Persona games myself, but like it's it's so fun to watch and it's so like fun to actually play. Cause before I got into streaming, I played Persona 5 Strikers. I think it was. I think it was Strikers. Strikers. I apologize for my new CV here.
No
But
worries.
before I started streaming, I played Persona 5 Strikers, and it was fun. I had an absolute blast with it. It did take place after like the OG Persona 5. Um, no, it, no matter what ending you got, but it takes place after. Um, but
Like, was
yeah.
Persona 5 like that good? Like, is that why it's getting so many, like
Pers-
add-ons, or what you want to call it?
Um, I think so. I think out of all the Persona games I've seen, personally, I like Persona 3 and 4.
Okay.
Um, cause like I seen like YouTubers play it, and it always like piqued my interest. It's like something that I will watch through the whole thing with. Um, I like
There's one
Persona
for you,
4.
Sleepy.
I like Persona 4 for sure, cause just Persona 4, if if I remember correctly, it gets dark. It's actually pretty dark.
Oh, okay.
Um, Let me close my door and screaming baby in the background. Um, and then Persona 3, if I remember correctly, you did to go through like TVs for the like different worlds to go into that alternate world, which is I thought was pretty cool. Um,
It's kind of neat.
yeah. That
Have,
but I like 5 because it's just the artwork and how it the artwork and the different type of personas kind of describes each of the I guess personalities, if that makes sense. I don't know if that
oh,
makes actually makes sense.
yeah, no, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, so like the main character you play is the Joker, and like his persona is literally the Joker. So it's cool. Um, Basically it's releasing your true self, basically, and it's just like Joker is like the trump card, basically. I don't know.
No,
That's my
no,
whole
no,
deal on it.
they sound interesting. What about
And no,
UJW or Pizza? Did you guys play Persona?
No.
Yeah,
No, okay.
I had heard about it, and like when I heard about it, like people they were going crazy for it. But yeah, I never played it. It never really like spoke to me. But you know, if Sleepy says it's a fun game, then I trust her on it.
Yeah, I trust your opinion.
I'm just a total geek when it comes to like amazing animation and beautiful guys. I
How
just
about
yeah.
I say how about the Sea of Thieves? Yeah, Sea of Thieves game. Monkey Island.
I
I thought that
mean,
was kind of a funny spin-off, but
it makes sense, but the only
yeah,
problem is that CSCs is not good.
yeah, right. Like we're going back into the Fallout and Elder Scrolls Online. It's one of those games that just never really caught my eye.
Well, I've tried it with friends, and some of our friends really liked it. I personally thought it was extremely repetitive gameplay loop and boring.
And especially because they said they're gonna add the point and click part to it, right? So it's like I don't know. It doesn't seem
They
for
did?
that game. Yeah, yeah, they mentioned that part into it. So that was I don't know.
Okay, I'm not sure how that works, but
Yeah,
uh,
right. That's what I was trying to wrap my head around too. I was like, well, how would that work? Like, I get it. You want to give people quests, but like,
You know, I wouldn't know. I just know when the game came out, like I guess yeah, there were no questions about it. Like it was just kind of do your own thing. And I'm like, I'm not, I'm not against that kind of gameplay, but I don't have a good imagination when it comes to gaming.
same.
Like let's say Minecraft. Like I get bored of things like Minecraft because it's like, you kind of have to make your own thing, and I just can't do it. I don't. I'm not that kind of person. So when I saw Sea of Thieves and just saw how it was just kind of your own adventure, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to give myself a goal when like there's nothing that can like really point me in that direction. So yeah, I don't really care too much about it.
Me
I'm
too.
glad it's a good game, but yeah, it's not for me.
And like you said before, right? Like, where we were talking about companies. Well, Rare. Like, I'd love to just see them make something new. Like already, like I don't know, I don't want to see more Sea of Thieves. I want to see something different, like a new platformer or
Like
anything
a new
really.
Conquer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like fuck.
or a
Like
new
if it's
Titan.
true, like they had so many good ones on the N64, and it's just like, yeah,
Well, then they
not the
got
same.
bought up by Microsoft, and then nothing happened since then.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
it's so disappointing.
yeah. I mean, hopefully one day I become developers, so I can get bought up by Microsoft, and then that way I can go in. I can, like kind of get people to kind of make their own game they want to do. Like maybe I'll be the spokesperson. I'll tell Phil, hey, even though I work for you guys, I want to do this, and that. I mean, because I don't know if people are even doing that. I don't know if people are scared to give their opinion or what, but it's like, like he has all these developers under his belt. Like, surely one of these people have an idea that is just like they want to make it happen, and nothing's happening. Like, what's going on, guys? Like you don't want to do it, or you're just not, so like you have Microsoft money, which is a lot. They have trillions of dollars under their belt. You can make 100 games just like that. So I don't know if it's just like they're scared to do it, if they're being told no, but yeah, I don't get it. Like, if you're bought by one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, surely you would have something by like now.
I know. Yeah, it's a shame, right? It's a shame that they're not using it to their full potential. Was there one there that was? Still Wakes in the Deep, the horror game that they had.
And
That
show
looked.
enough.
Yeah, yeah. I like the ocean idea, like being out in sea. Like I love horror games, or I'm sorry, horror movies that are take place in that kind of setting. So that part I'm down for. But yeah,
Yeah, it looked good. It's just they didn't show enough.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was really interested to see what that monster or demon was, but yeah, it was just like one quick little scene. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Um,
like I would like to see a game like a first person horror game that takes place in the ocean. That's not Subnautica. 'Cause, it's like that's I don't like. I mean, even though like it has like scary monsters or whatever, like it's
It's
not.
more about crafting, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's like I want to see a game that's it's like maybe Jaws, that kind of thing. It's like maybe
yeah,
you're in a broken boat and you just have to survive the night with Jaws around you. Like I mean, like something that feels like it's a very tense situation, that kind of game. And I mean,
exactly.
I think that would go pretty well. 'Cause, like I mean, people they love Alien Isolation. They like games where you don't feel like you are the prey in the sense. So like I mean, they can make that kind of game too because it's not hard to do. Well, I'm sorry to say that. I mean, I'm not a game developer, so I really can't like talk, but it seems like it's not hard to do.
Yeah, it's just one of those genres that's not touched enough yet.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe one day people they'll get tired of making another Dead by Daylight clone, and they'll make
What'd you
not
guys
that
think about
not
the
that
city skylines too?
yeah. Oh, that was all right. Again, I don't have imagination, so I can't really speak on it. But it looks nice. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks like something that if you
like
like.
SimCity.
Like, yeah, if you like SimCity, if you like creating your own place, you can definitely do that. Maybe I'll buy it if they have an option to like kind of like to explore your own city, like get first person. Then yeah, I would definitely buy it because now I can actually like explore what I made and actually like get up close to the buildings I'm putting down. Then yeah, but I don't know what they have in there. I mean, to be fair, I kind of skipped that game because it just wasn't on my list of interesting things. I
Same
mean,
here.
yeah,
I was like, I don't even know really what's different. I'm assuming the fact that you can have cities is the part that's different compared to the first one. But yeah, like yeah, it just it's
yeah.
not my thing. Like I'm
Oh,
with you, Pizza. I need story. I need direction. Don't just tell me here make your own world because I will not do well in that game.
yeah. Yeah, actually, hold on. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, so like I know when I saw the when first I thought that I thought that like they were making their own Monkey Island kind of game, but it's just like this a crossover. Like I don't, yeah. So I just, yeah, I don't know. I skipped over Sea of Thieves. I skipped Sea of
Yeah,
Thieves. I
that's
skipped
yeah.
that
It's just like an
Ultimate.
expansion on the.
Yeah, I skipped that one. I skipped City Skylines. I skipped a few other games. Because like, I'm sure they're all great games, but it's like I just did not really care enough about them. At least not right now, to just really kind of justify me watching it. Which hopefully they are
Oh
great games, and that that way I could feel bad for ignoring them. But yeah, I just a
no,
lot
I'm
of them
with
I
you.
just did not care about. Mhm.
Like
So
before this one, I watched a whole bunch of them, right? Just like I knew what to talk about. But yeah, when I watched the first, when I focused on the first showcase, I just looked at all the games that I actually wanted to see or I thought were interesting.
yeah, which I mean, like, I guess like looking back at it, like there's not really a lot of games that like kind of got my attention. But like for the ones that did, I could see myself playing them for
Oh
more
yeah,
than just
like I
those.
said, the Clockwork game, I'm zoned right into that one. I'm excited for that one's release.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, yeah, I never played Bioshock. Well, no, let me phrase that. I played a bit of the first Bioshock. I have seen Infinite, but I never got into it. But I mean, it looks like a fun game. It looks like something that I can see myself playing, like just to kind of, goof off and like just, have fun. But I mean, I was more interested in like, games like Avowed or Starfield, like games by those people. 'Cause, I love playing Pillars of Eternity. I like playing Fallout. Seeing like those kind of games.
Yep.
I'm gonna buy those because of the past. Sorry, because of their past track record that they gave to me before. I'll buy it again. But that's about it, though.
I'm with you. The only other one I was gonna shout out was well, it's just exciting for console players is Plasmophobia. Sorry, that's gonna finally come to consoles now. Well, at least Xbox. I'm not sure about PlayStation.
Um, yeah, I have seen that game. Like I know that I think that it blew up like in COVID, right? Like it blew up during the COVID years. I
Yep.
think. Yeah. So I mean, it looked all right, but of course, it was a horror game, so it's like, not my kind of thing. And plus, it's like is it like a 4v1 kind of thing, or is it just co-op?
From what I understand, yeah, it's co-op. And it's just like you're a ghost hunter, right? Like you're just finding
Mm.
demons and shit. I'm interested to see how it's going to challenge Dead by Daylight now, right? Because now that it's going on to consoles, it's going to have a little bit more of an audience. I mean, of course, it depends how it plays out too, right? It could be buggy as all hell on consoles. Who knows?
Oops, maybe I don't even know. I mean, again, hopefully it comes out well, so that way people can enjoy the games. But yeah, I never played Phasmophobia. I never really cared
Yeah,
about it. I'm not much of a horror kind of guy, so that also explains why. But not too bad. I mean, maybe it'll, I don't know, it'll just look, I don't know, it'll look good. But yeah, I don't know what games they're actually showing because, like, like I think most of my attention was at Starfield, and I think it's just like, you
same
know,
here. Yeah,
unfortunately, like there were no timestamps on the video, so I really, like I couldn't accurately sit through all the games, so it just, I think like when I got to the halfway point, it was just all Starfield, and I just watched that. So yeah.
yeah. No, no, I was excited for Starfield. Like I was saying earlier, the creatures that they showed right too were really neat.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, you know, I'm sure that there are plenty of games. Actually, no, there is one. It was like this Japanese. It was like, let me see actually.
Oh, was it Path of the Goddess?
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, like that's a game that that got my attention.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good shout.
Yeah, so hopefully they can give us more detail on that kind of game because I mean it just that I'm guessing it's an indie game as well, which I mean
Yeah.
it looks really good, and hopefully that one comes out. I don't know when it comes out anyways, but hopefully it comes out soon.
Yeah, no, that was a good looking game. You're absolutely correct. The like the art style and everything too, it was really neat. I think that was the one where like I don't know if it was like a stomach or something opened up and then all these bad guys started to come out.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that was
yeah.
the one I watched. Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
Oh yeah, it was definitely good. And I think like it just looks like a little fun game to play around with. So yeah,
Yeah. And it's
that's
been a while, right, since we had a samurai kind of game, so
actually
why not?
let me see what games came out for the showcase. Cause I just like when I can't really tell you a lot of games that came out because I was not like paying attention to it. What
Well, like I
game?
was saying to JW, the one I thought was kind of neat was flight simulator. I like the fact that now it has like jobs into it, so it went from just being like just whatever buzzing around the air, whatever vehicle you want, to actually now having a little bit more of a purpose. And
Oh
like I said,
yeah,
hopefully by the time the third one comes out, right, maybe it'll be more of an actual game.
oh yeah. And I mean like I, I played Flight Sim for a little bit. It wasn't too bad. I mean it was like it's one. I think it's just a game where if you like aviation or you want to calm down with something like that, then it looks pretty good. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm with the next one. I'm gonna try out this one. 'Cause I mean, at least now, there's something to do, and it feels more.
Exactly.
It just feels more involved.
Like the one that caught my eye. I don't know which one you were interested in, but I kind of wanted to try the emergency response, I guess, unit. Like trying to rescue someone. That one kind of seemed interesting. I was like, I wonder how that'll play out. Like, do you actually rescue them and then have to take them all the way to the hospital? Because if so, like that'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, and it's me. Maybe they put that kind of thought into it, so it could be like an actual start to finish, take them from here to there. Which yeah, that's not too bad. And
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure I don't think that they would give us like just half-ass stuff. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't do that to us. We'll start not for a game like Flight Sim, because like I mean, that's one of their flagship games, so it's like they really couldn't give us less.
And then, because I think you said you played it a few times, Cyberpunk Pizza. Were you excited over the expansion?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm more excited to see the update. Because like from what I've been seeing on Twitter, like when it comes out, like it's going to be a massive overhaul to the whole game, and so I want to see how far that goes because like the core game right now is it's functional, it's nice, everything fluid. So I want to see what they fix up when the DLC comes out.
I
So
like the comment. It's functional.
yeah, so I want to see where they kind of start showing the growth and everything else. But yeah, I mean DLC though, I mean we get to see. Well, I saw like some of the gameplay for it, which I mean, it's just more cyberpunk in a different area, which is nice. So, hopefully when it comes out, I can play that for a few nights and just kind of get myself up to speed with it. But yeah, that's my take on it. Of course, my main takeaway from the whole thing was not enough gameplay to justify me
Yeah.
hyping it up, except for Starfield, because like that's just like they seem to put all their eggs in that one basket. When in reality, what they could have done was just make these games that they've been promising us for years. I mean, like that would have been a lot better, but maybe they're
Well, I
playing
mean,
tests.
if they have nothing to show, it's because it's not ready. Otherwise, they would have
Yeah.
had something.
Maybe so, and it's just like, you know, they've had years, to do this. So,
Oh, for
hopefully,
sure.
maybe Starfield is the game where it took all the effort, and if that's the case, and the game comes out and it's like a 10 out of 10, I will. Well, I mean, of course, I'm going to say, good job. But of course, I will also feel as though they had every reason to kind of, stay silent on everything. So we just have to, we'll see. We'll see once I think September it comes out. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
think September.
Oh yeah,
Well,
obviously,
it's
yeah.
like I was telling Mindful earlier. The number of years they've come out with a different cinematic for Fable is like I've lost count of how many cinematics for Fable and then no game.
That's
Like
true.
at this point, Fable is just vaporware, and every time it's a new cutscene.
Yeah, like they had some gameplay at the end, but it was like, I mean, like, that's just, like that, the gameplay that they showed us on that little Fable trailer, it was not good.
Yeah, it's
Like it
nothing.
was
It's
just,
just running.
yeah, like that's not really what Fable's all about anyway. So I wasn't feeling it. So yeah, you're right. Maybe next year, whatever though, maybe give us something else. But yeah, which is like Fable was what made Xbox what it is. Cause like that was way back on like way back. So like that's a game that should have been released years like that should have been a console launch title really.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, yeah, I
true.
agree. Actually,
Yeah.
that would have been a good
Um,
choice.
I have to do some writing now. I have to go.
Oh yeah, of
Right,
course,
well,
GW.
yeah,
Thank you for
definitely.
joining, buddy.
Sure. Till next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like that really should have been a console title. Um, hey Jimmy, how's it going, buddy?
Good, good. I saw you were still on and figured I'd stop by.
No worries. Well, we kind of tackled through the list, but I don't know if you can see it on the general chat menu. Um, love to hear your thoughts on any one of those. If there's any games that you want to shout out,
Let's see.
or any ones that you were
Oh,
excited over.
goodness. Um, I mean, for me, it was definitely Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I just love the Yakuza game so much. So I was, I was pumped to see the insanity continue. So,
Yeah, we were all
um,
saying like the trailer is so funny with him just waking up naked in the beach.
yeah, and I mean, of course, you're always gonna want to see like gameplay and stuff, but like, it was just nice to see it announced. I'm ready. I'm sure. The studio's doing a showcase on the 15th, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and I'm sure they'll show off some of that. Hopefully. Anyways.
Definitely, and like to be fair, like with that studio though, like they could release only just trailers for the game, and it would be a great game. 'Cause, it's like I mean, we play Yakuza, we have played all Yakuza games, and
Oh,
like we already know we know what kind of quality they gave us for the game. So it's like you know they could only show us that one trailer and it could be a
yep.
10 out of 10 when it launches because like we know what to expect from it.
Absolutely.
So I mean hopefully we do see some gameplay because I mean like I have played some of Yakuza 7 which I mean it's you know it is different so I mean I don't mind it being more Yakuza 7 in America. Maybe it'll be like Kiwami 2 where it's just fighting. It might be might be like an emotional thrill ride. I don't know, but I mean, either way though, it's day one.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, no question about it. Day one. I'm excited for the Kiryu one as well. I like
Yeah,
this trend of
fighting.
like
Yeah,
$50 games. Kind of
yeah.
nice.
It kind of sucks because it's like I was from what I've been told on Twitter. With the guiding game, it's going to be digital only, which kind of sucks. Like I mean, you know,
Oh, that does suck.
yeah, and I think it's like only the PS4 version, sorry, the PS4 Japanese version is gonna be physical, which is like I don't know if I mean like I guess I'm
Oh,
going like maybe um play Asia and find a copy over there, but it's like
Right.
I enjoy having the physical copies of a game like that because it's like like that's Yakuza's a game where like it's a game that's just not really big over here in America. It's just it's just a game where we're lucky if we get it over here anyways.
Right.
You
I
know,
know. I'm
so,
still hoping we get a Kenzan remake too.
oh yeah, hopefully, yeah. I mean, it's just like there are so many games that are still locked over in Japan that we just don't even know about. Cause I mean, like who there could be like maybe they may already have Dead Soul remake over there in Japan, and it's just
Right.
it'll never come to America because I guess they don't think that we care enough about the game. Which I mean, I bought Aishin, so clearly there's a market for it.
Right.
So
Yeah, I would love them to port that to current gen consoles. The Dead Souls. I know it's not like a fan favorite, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little like side game basically.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So who knows? Maybe, hopefully, I think maybe once, like once I don't know if I think Gaiden comes out first. So hopefully when if that game sells a lot, maybe they'll consider giving us more Yakuza stuff in the future.
Right. Yeah,
So,
because it's like kind of picking up stride, but it's not like it's. Not, I feel like it's not where it could be. Potentially. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, not definitely. I mean, like even though people are, like people are kind of like hyping up on Twitter. I mean, they're not gonna buy it. I mean, that's just people on Twitter. They're just, they just like basically, really though, it's just they just saw Ichiban's butt, and that was the main talk of the whole town. So they're
Yeah.
not gonna buy the game. They're just, they're just doing it for the memes.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know that when that drops out though, it's gonna have compared to a game like Starfield, it's gonna have piss poor sales.
Oh
But
yeah.
it'll have piss poor sales from Americans, so that's something.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, day one though for sure. But yeah, I mean like that game that kind of got my attention with the showcase, and yeah, I mean that's really it. So yeah, hopefully they show us more gameplay of it. Maybe during Sega's showcase if they even have one.
Right. I know. I'm wondering because I'm also wondering like if they've already announced these, we knew these games are coming, but they already announced with trailers. What else could they show at the RGG showcase or whatever they call it, the summit, I think.
Yeah, who knows? Like they may have something else just in the background, just kind of waiting to kind of show off, or it could be a case where it's already out and they're just going to give it to us later on down the road. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I guess that's the theme of RGG. It's like release to the of course, I mean, and I guess it is it's in their home country. Release it there first makes sense. And give us later on, but
Right.
yeah, I think that's the pattern. They get over there first, and then we get it maybe weeks later on. Because yeah, and I bet you they probably have a demo for Infinite Wealth already.
Oh, for sure.
And
They
yeah,
have to.
oh yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like I wish I knew someone who had a Japanese PS4 who could like kind of send it to me. But yeah, that's a pipe dream.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. All right,
Ah,
yeah, Mike. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna hop over real quick. I'm gonna walk my dog real quick, and then I'm gonna get some homework done, and then yeah, I gotta get myself ready for work tomorrow. Sadly.
Yeah, no worries, pizza. Thank you so much for stopping by, buddy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. You take care, Jimmy, and nice talking to you, though, man.
yeah. Nice talking to you anytime. Hopefully, some more soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. And hope and of course, if nothing happens, maybe I'll call my boss tonight and see what is going to happen because if they don't need me, I'll come back to the podcast if it's still going on. If not, then I ain't gonna sweat. I'll see you guys. Well, I'll just text you guys anyways. What am I saying?
Yeah, fair enough. We're all in the Discord.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Well, then I will see y'all later on. Then, all right?
All right. Have a good night.
Oh, yeah, same to you guys.
Bye, pizza.
Such a
All
solid
right.
dude. Such an
Yeah.
absolute solid dude.
Well, Jimmy, okay, buddy. Then you got the floor, my friend. So, what other games caught your eye that you were excited over?
So we were specifically talking about this list, right? Let
Well,
me.
yeah, or like if there was ones that because I know there was a lot listed, right? So I tried to get most of them, but if I missed any, by all means, shout them out.
Well, I will say, Lies of P. I played the demo. It's awesome. It's like every bit of like if you're fiending for more Bloodborne, that's the game for you. You know,
I'm really excited you brought that one up. Yeah, because I didn't know what that was, and JW was describing it. I was like, "Fuck, this totally sounds like a Jimmy game." Like I could see him loving this.
oh yeah, 100%. Unfortunately, this year is insane, and I'm like, am I going to be able to play this? Especially with the kid, on the way, and it's like, oh my god, I just don't even don't even know. I'm so worried that I'm not going to have enough time for all this stuff.
That's true, eh? Yeah, because that would be a lot of hours clocked in.
Avowed. That looks. I know that we knew about that a while back.
Yeah,
What we saw now compared to the trailer that they set it up originally was like, I don't know if you feel the same. Not that it looks bad or anything. It looks like it'll probably be a really good game. I just expected it to be a little darker just from the initial trailer from way back. And it
yeah,
doesn't seem to have as darker tone as I thought it was going to.
yeah. It's actually no, it's a really good point. I didn't even think about that from the older trailer. Yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, they did kind of change it up, eh?
Yeah, it was. I mean, and again, not that it's a bad thing. It's
No,
just like you kind of took you back for a second, like, oh wait, okay, so it's not really as dark as I thought it was going to be.
yeah, exactly. It was kind of like what you guys said about Fable, right? Like Fable's taking a different approach through this timeline of trailers.
Yep. We probably didn't need the Elder Scrolls expansion shown because we kind of like already seen the. I mean, if you're watching YouTube daily, like you see that trailer constantly.
I know, right? That's what I was saying to like GW. Like I want to get into that game, but I can't. Like I thought when Morrowind hit, I was like, okay, boom, this will be my time, and no, it still wasn't. You know?
Well, dude, it's overwhelming. That's the problem.
Yeah, I was more excited for Fallout 76. I'm not gonna lie. That second or that another expansion they added on there, I was like, okay, I feel like this is the time now for me to finally get into it because I feel like there's enough in that world where I could enjoy it, but there's still lots of things I'm curious about. Like I was saying, like with the VAT system, I'm curious if that'll actually be in the game or not, or how they
Yeah.
put that in there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot. I feel like there's enough meat on the bone now.
Right. Oh man, let's see. I'm loving this list though. Fable, I love Richard Ayoade, so like when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, okay, awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, awesome, amazing. Like whether this game is good or bad, I don't care. Richard Ayoade, I'm in.
I totally caught Cheyenne's eye with that one because she looked at the screen. She's like, "Is that Moss?" And for some reason, we didn't have the sound on. I don't know why. But anyway, I rewatched the trailer. I was like, "It was Moss." I was like, "It did just look like him." Like, oh fuck, I love him so much. Like that alone sold me on it. I was like, "Yeah, I want to play Fable now."
Oh my god. Oh, you know what they got me with? Was what was that? Path of the Goddess? I don't know what the first part is. I can't remember the
Yeah,
pronunciation.
the nice Japanese one, right?
Yeah, when they first showed it, literally the first like maybe second and a half, maybe 2 seconds, dude, I thought Onimusha was coming back. I swear to God, I was so pumped, and then immediately it was like, wait, this doesn't look like Onimusha. And then like as it goes on, I'm like, this isn't Onimusha.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. I was so excited just watching. Like I was saying, there was one scene. I'm pretty sure I remember it correctly, where like this body kind of opens up and all these bad guys pour out of it too. Like I love crazy shit like that, and like I'm so pumped.
Yeah, that stuff is sick. I mean, it's probably gonna be a really fun game. I'm still gonna play it.
Yeah.
I mean, Capcom for the most part is, they're always killing it.
Yeah, and that's exciting, right? It's a new thing from Capcom. Like that's awesome.
Did you happen to see their showcase?
No, I did not.
Oh man, it was. I won't lie. I was with everyone else with the unrealistic expectations, so it definitely built it up more than it was, and it definitely did not live up to the hype. But I will say, Dragon's Dogma 2 looks really good.
Oh yeah.
I still never beat the first one, but from what I played of it, I enjoyed it. I just, how the backlog
Oh,
goes.
so true.
But they did announce that they're doing another Ace Attorney collection. I don't know if you ever played the Phoenix Wright games.
No, I didn't, but yeah, I've heard of it. Heard about them.
So now the 4, 5, and 6 are going to be in a collection. ported to the like PlayStation, Xbox, and all that stuff. So I'm pretty pumped about that because
That's cool.
I never played them back on like the DS and 3DS and stuff like that. So it's been a fun ride with those.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout actually.
Ghost Trick, there's a demo. That's pretty fun. It's from like I think the same people that are behind like Phoenix Wright or someone from the team that does Phoenix Wright. Like it was an old game on the DS that they're bringing back and they updated it and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's really cool. It's like you're this you don't really know what's going on, but you're dead and you're just going through these powers and you're trying to save this person while also figuring out the mystery of like who you are and why you died and all this stuff. And it's really weird and bizarre, but it's fun.
That's cool. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's like it's simple gameplay. Like it's not like super involved. You just have to like figure things out. So it's more of like a puzzle. But it's really cool. Like I don't know if the demo's live on the PC or the Xbox or whatever, but I'd look into it if you can. Ghost Trick.
Yeah.
You might enjoy it. It doesn't take too long. Yeah. You get to play like the first part of the game, and if you like it enough, you can get the full game and carry your progress forward.
That's best. We were just saying earlier how like I wish all demos did that. Like it's such a good feature.
Oh, I love that. It's so great because, dude, I got to talk about it. I have to. I just finished it today. The Final Fantasy 16 demo.
It's all good. JW had his big rant too.
I absolutely was blown away to the point where I had to put down the controller after and go, wow. I can't believe how good this game is. It's insane.
As you say, as much as you guys were talking about it, and just like I think previously, you and the Juggernaut might have mentioned it too. I looked up the trailer, and yeah, look, I was pretty impressed. I was like, wow, this is exactly what I would want out of a Final Fantasy game.
Oh yeah, it's what I've been wanting for so long. It's like we're actually getting a mature, and not just because it's rated M, but like that helps too. But it's a mature themed Final Fantasy, and like the writing reflects that, and the interactions, the acting. All just, and dude, the music. There's some fights in that demo that like when the music kicks in, man, your heart's just going. It's incredible.
That's awesome. Hey Z Chick, sorry, I just wanted to give you a quick little shout out.
Hi guys.
Heyo.
We were just, I don't know if you watched or not, we were just kind of shouting out some of the games that were on the Xbox Showcase and any ones that they were excited for. Or like for PC too, right? Because some of these will be for PC, some of them will be for PlayStation as well.
Yep.
Yeah, if there was any on there that you liked, by all means, tell me how hyped and excited you were.
I have no idea, honestly. I'm sorry.
It's all
But I
good.
like the one, but I like the one that you were just talking about. The one that you said was like a puzzle game.
Oh, Ghost Trick?
Yeah, I love puzzle games.
Yeah, Ghost Trick is really cool. I played it last night. I was just laying there in bed. Listen, don't judge me, but I got a PS5 in the bedroom and in my game room. So
Oh, look at you. Aren't you bougie?
yeah, a little
No
bit.
judgment. No judgment. No judgment.
Yeah, right though. But basically, yeah, I was laying in bed and I was playing it and I was hooked. Like I was supposed to go to bed like hours before, and I was like, I just have to get through this demo. I just want to play through. It's not very long, but it was.
Oh,
just
it's on there. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And like it's not anything crazy gameplay wise, but it was just really fun and like engaging, and I really like where like the story's going. It's silliness, but it's like fun. You know what I mean?
I love a good story and I love puzzles, so I totally get that.
Oh hell yeah!
I was playing a game tonight, The Pedestrian. It was really weird, but yeah, it's just all puzzles. So it's all, yeah, I loved it. I got a little frustrated at times, but I loved it.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Oh, I'm
Tommy
sure.
hopped on in the beginning, and what was he saying? There was a part you're getting frustrated with, was it with pages or something like that? He's like, you should really check out Z
So
Check
like
right
you
now.
have to, so yeah, I was so frustrated because there was like, okay, so there's like 4 sections, and you can move the character from one platform to the other, but like with an overlay.
Okay.
So they have to be like in a gridded area, and then you can move them, but you also have to like pick up like a key or use this box to go here. So like this puzzle unlocks parts to this other puzzle, and oh my god, and they're all in like signs or windows or fences. It's so fucking cool.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
mean, I got that. I got past that part, but I was like, I'm gonna just sit here for a minute and eat my fucking mac and cheese and chat with you guys while I network stuff. So, yeah, but other than that, yeah.
That's cool though. I know, I totally get that. There's sometimes I get so frustrated. I'm like, what the hell is it?
Yeah, I just like put my controller down. I was like, I'm gonna eat this mac and cheese and talk to you guys just for like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna go back to it. I will get this because I'm not a quitter, but
Never.
never, right? So I mean, I got it, and then I got to like another part that like stumped me, and I was like, I've been streaming for 6 hours. I'm done, guys.
My mind has had enough today.
Yep, and I'm still playing games, but you know, whatever.
Here we are.
So Jimmy, was there any other ones on there that you got excited about?
Undoubtedly, there's something I'm forgetting, right? Like, there's just been so much, and like between like all the release dates of stuff that are getting announced, and like all this overwhelming stuff going on, I'm like, if another game comes out in October, I might cry.
I feel ya.
Like we've got Alone in the Dark remake is coming out.
Oh
in
yeah,
October.
that's right.
Alan Wake 2, which is coming then. God, what else? Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Ooh.
So that's gonna. I mean, I'm like, oh my god. And the baby's due October 25th. So I'm like, might be able to squeeze some
Love
time
you, babe.
in before then.
Baby in one
Hey,
hand,
Lily.
controller in the other.
Exactly. Oh my god! But
Did you see the one for the Clockwork Revolution? That was one I said that I really caught my eye.
yeah, that was the one that looked like Bioshock.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that was wild. I honestly, I was sitting there and I was like, when the first like maybe 10 seconds of it, I'm like, wait, are we getting another Bioshock?
I know, right? So I was like, is this Infinite too?
Right? Because it definitely looked like Infinite. I didn't beat Infinite. I still plan to go back someday and play through it. I've avoided all spoilers up to this point, which is great. So that'll happen someday, probably, maybe.
And I like what was it, the time travel mechanic it had? That seemed kind of neat. So I'm curious how that's gonna play out.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is it's funny because like, like they throw games like that, it's interesting, and then you get like random games that look very like generic, and you're like, why? Why?
Exactly, right?
When you get like all this, yeah, it's a weird thing when like games just like, I want to be excited for that like Immortals of Avium or whatever it's called, but there's something about it that's just like too generic looking for me that I just don't think I'm gonna give it a shot.
The other one I was curious about too was South of Midnight, the one that had like that Tim Burton kind of style to it with the characters.
Oh
yeah. I mean, again, it was just it was like a cinematic trailer, but I am really curious what it's going to be.
I know, it's like now you just like, what kind of game is it? What are we doing in it?
What's
like,
that one called?
Was it oh my god, mindful. There you go. South of Midnight. I feel like you might like that one too, Zuchik. Just like the trailer wise, it was really neat. Like, how would you say it? It was like clay figures, I guess. They kind of look like Jimmy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like stop motion kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like the guy's like playing the banjo. And he's got these really long fingers. It's really, I don't know. It's really fucking cool. I liked it.
Yeah, it's totally up my alley.
Like it looks like it's gonna be like kind of like a platform adventure game. Like I'm just based on like when she grabbed the key and she was like using it like a weapon of some sort. Yeah. Was there any other ones on there, Jimmy, that you were pumped?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? The Ubisoft showcase actually wasn't half bad.
Yeah. No, they had some good ones too.
Yeah, I know that it's been weird. I've been not able to like fully commit to any of like Star Wars games or whatever, but I know they showed off like a bunch of that
The
their
Outlaws.
Star Wars game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like kind of interesting. I can go either way, that's the only thing. Um and having just got like the Jedi game, I feel like
Yeah.
I don't.
Like I feel like it's almost gonna be similar to that, like story wise, like not gameplay, but like I feel like you're gonna have that like character you're gonna get invested in again, and it's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. Like it's a little too soon. Like the Jedi one hasn't kind of thrown over yet.
I feel like I'm excited for an Assassin's Creed game again for the first time in a while. We're going kind of back to the roots of the series, while also like kind of being a hybrid of like what worked with the newer stuff.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty cool. I was really impressed by the gameplay they showed for that. I was like, okay, I could see myself having fun with that. I know it's easy to and like kind of like a thing to hate on Ubisoft these days. Like I feel like they're always getting crap for, and I get it because like they have some pretty bad DLC practices and stuff like that. But I mean, there's just some games they make and they're just actually pretty good. Minus, you can get burnt out on their formula after a while too, though.
I mean,
the find this on the map, open up this, like.
I know, like everyone's
you can't
like,
play it back to back.
I hate the Far Cry treatment, but I'm just like, yeah, but I kind of like the Far Cry treatment.
Yeah, but like, there's a time when it hits, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why like I can't play them back to back, but I can definitely be like, okay, I'm in the mood for this. I'm gonna play through this one.
Exactly.
And then I'll wait, and then I'll play through another one. It's just that when every game has that formula, it's like, all right, I gotta take a step away from that. I need something different.
I agree. Yeah. No. What's the other one?
And then they got the VR one that's coming.
Oh, what's the VR one?
It's coming to the Quest. There's like 3 different assassins you get to play as. They haven't really shown much of it, other than it was Ezio, Cassandra, and I can't remember the other one.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's just like you get like, I mean, it's gonna be weird. I feel like I'm gonna get sick playing it, but I'm gonna try it anyways.
Yeah.
If I miss a jump when I'm climbing or something, I'm gonna probably vomit, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's a good test for the VR. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it would be fun though. Assassinating in VR is kind of fun.
Yeah. Did you get to see the?
That way you don't have to kill people in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See?
It's going to be really good game therapy.
It's safe for everyone involved.
Exactly.
Did you see the Still Wakes in the Deep trailer, Jimmy? The what do you call it? Under the Sea horror game. We're in a ship, I guess it is.
Didn't, but I did see that pop up on the PlayStation Store under the like. They have like a section for like games to wish list or whatever.
Yep.
And I saw that in there, and I should have looked at the trailer. I didn't. I might do that tonight though. Because that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I said for me, like the reason why I got excited for that one is like I love like horror movies that take place in like the ocean or like an abandoned ship or something like that. I don't know what it is, just that setting. Just it's so good, so good. So now there's gonna be like a horror game about it. Like that's awesome.
I feel like
that is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just gonna say that's like my nightmare.
Yeah, right.
Ocean
games.
Well,
I was gonna say for me, like it's really like the only scary thing for me is the ocean. Like having a horror theme stuff there, because it's just so. I mean, there's so much of it that's like Uncharted still, and there's so much like. First of all, sharks. I get like VR games that have sharks in my face. I freak out. It's like the one thing that makes me go like out of my mind. I just can't do it. I'm sitting there, my whole body comes up. I'm like, I know this isn't real right now, but there's a big ass shark in my face.
Yeah, I mean, and that's terrifying. Just like, I mean, and then you have whales and like no, there's just no.
Yeah.
You ever think about whales' eyes? I don't know. They're freaky.
I think everything I can't see that's that big that I could just be like a Scooby snack. I'm not cool with no.
I don't blame you.
And like, there's so many like movies they could
even
copy
playing
too,
Subnautica.
like Open Water, or like, I don't know, there's so many shark movies, right, where it's just like, yeah, that setting of just being in the water and not knowing when it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the intensity of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But would I play it? Fuck yeah, I
Hell
would.
yes, I know, right?
Like, would
I
I
feel
be
like
terrified the whole
Subnautica-
time? Yes.
Like I get freaked out going deeper and deeper, and like there could be like not much going on, and the further down I go, the more I feel my chest getting tighter, and I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. Something's gonna happen. I know it.
I was watching somebody play that game and I was getting stressed. I was like, oh my god. And the person was like, Z, you should really play this game. I was like, fuck you, really? No.
And it's funny because it's not even like supposed to be that scary, right? Like it's just a survival game, but like you're in the middle of the water, like,
Right.
like
And you're going so deep, it's dark. Like, what?
Yes.
No. Oh, no.
No, and I've seen videos of the giant thing that people have come across in there, and I'm like, nope. No, thank you. Now give it to me in VR so I can nope in VR. Terrifying. Just would never want to be stranded in the ocean.
I feel ya.
I know, right?
Said, hands down, some of my favorite movies just take place
You're right, though?
just take place in the ocean. The other one I was curious if you were interested or not was that 33 Immortals. I like the idea that you could have 33 people playing a co-op game. Like, that's kind of cool. But like I was saying to JW, but they didn't really tell you if they're all different, right? If you're just all the same character, like, that's not that exciting.
I wasn't able to get a good idea of how it played, even though they showed them playing it.
Exactly.
And that's like a big deal breaker, right? Like you want to play a game that like one you have control over, right? You don't want it to be something that's like, you know, you're not really doing much in, right? Like you want to be involved.
Exactly, yeah.
Especially if you're gonna have 33 people, and if it's, you get 33 people and you're just sitting there, that's gonna be boring.
Yeah, if you're all just like swinging the sword and that's it, like.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to think about that one. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I didn't get much information about it.
No, I'm with you. I felt the same way. I was like, okay, like I have to see a little more gameplay to actually have a proper opinion on it.
Right.
Well, I was gonna ask everyone earlier this one because we were kind of going down a nostalgia trip, but just like to wrap up the stream. We had our games that were announced, right? And I know there was realistic expectations and unrealistic, right? But just go hog wild. Tell me, you guys, what would have been a game that you would have wanted to be announced, whether it's a remaster or, you know, just a sequel to one that hasn't come out in a long time. We all got that one wish list game that we keep hoping gets announced, right? What would be your guys' choice?
I have so many.
Skyrim. Can they please release the new Skyrim already?
What would you want though? What would you want in Zichik? Yeah, like is it like another like Elder Scrolls game or just a Skyrim 2?
I think it is an Elder Scrolls 6 that's coming out.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They keep pushing the date. I just wish that it was like now.
Okay, here's a good question though. What would you want? So like obviously number 4 had like the demon portals opening up. Number 5 was the dragons. Like what would be your next big thing that you'd hope?
I have no idea because the only one I've played is 5. Does that make sense?
No,
like,
it
I've
totally
only
does.
played 5.
But I mean, okay.
So I mean, demon portals sound pretty fucking cool, but I don't know because I haven't played it.
You gotta go play Oblivion.
I know that's I think Oblivion is your favorite, right, Mindful?
Yeah, hands down, yeah, Oblivion.
And Spiders is Morrowind. So, like, I think they both keep asking me to play those.
Okay, how about creatures? Was there any creatures in Skyrim that you were kind of hoping would appear that didn't?
No, I mean, I think they pretty much fucking covered it.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think really hard.
Because you've got vampires, werewolves, giants, you've got trolls, ice trolls, giant fucking spiders.
Yeah, no, they did a good job actually.
I mean, I think everything was actually in there. I mean, and then I guess you have your mods too, like for zombies and weird shit too. But I haven't even played with mods yet. I'm just like plain Jane playthrough, man.
Like even though I want Elder Scrolls 6, I couldn't even think of what else you could go to next.
They could add.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited because Skyrim Grandma's going to be in that one.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
So like that's really awesome. And like I know that you can get a mod right now to make her a companion right now, but like I said, I don't play with mods.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So I guess that would be really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like
I wonder if she would be like a badass,
Yeah, like what's she actually gonna
Probably.
be in the game? Yeah, I hope she gets like a nice big role. Like a side quest of some sort.
Yeah, I hope she has like a story. Like a story that gets told. Maybe she's a vampire grandma.
Oh, that'd
I
be
don't
pretty
know.
cool. Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't that be so badass? Like that's why she's immortal.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good pick. What do you think, Jimmy? Do you have any ideas what number 6 would be? Like I said, there's so Red Mountain was number 3, right? And then you got the Hell's Portals, dragons.
So my if I had a choice, I would, because I've always loved the Argonians. I wish we could get the Black Marsh.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, they would have.
But I could see it being. Oh god, where are the Red Guards from again? Is that Daggerfall?
Yeah.
And Hammerfell?
I know some people were thinking that it's gonna be like elven based this time, like the high elves.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I know, not that exciting.
So like Somerset? Is that what the high elves?
Yeah, I
from?
think so. Yeah, I think it was from Somerset.
Yeah.
But I agree. Yeah, no, the
I used to
Argolians
be-
would be awesome.
I used to be really obsessed with the lore of Elder Scrolls. I was very much a big old nerd of it. Like, how people are with Lord of the Rings. That's where I was for a while. I have since forgotten a lot of it,
I feel you. Yeah.
but I used to be huge into it, and I always wanted a game that took place in like the Black Marsh. Yeah, it would suck for traveling around, but it would be awesome because it'd be the land of the Argonians.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Especially like all the what do you call it? Because they have like a lot of disease and poison resistant, right? So like it would be kind of neat to see what kind of environments you'd be walking into with other characters.
Yeah. Plus, they can breathe underwater, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say they're water breathing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that would have been great. What about you, Jimmy?
I have all kinds of ideas.
What kind of game did you hope would have got announced? Realistic.
All right, is it okay if I got 3? 'Cause
Sure,
it's
buddy.
all from the same developer.
Of course, go ahead.
One, I 100% wish we could have seen a Dino Crisis remake because I did not ask for Exoprimal. And the fact that they used the character model that looks like Regina from Dino Crisis is cool. 2, I really wish we got like an announcement of Resident Evil 1 remake, because I think that would be great to see Resident Evil 1 in the RE engine, and for a lot of people that are getting that are introduced to Resident Evil in the remakes, it would be good for them to get like the origin of like Wesker and all this stuff. So that would be cool. But my absolute number one, I'd love to see an Onimusha either reboot, full-blown remake, or port part 2, because we got the port of part 1 and we have not got the other ones yet.
Oh, okay.
And it's sad because it's like a dead series right now, and I would love it to make a comeback.
That was from the PS2, right? That series?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There was a version of the first one on Xbox. It was called Genma Onimusha.
Oh,
sorry guys.
no worries. Yeah. Wow. I totally remember the Xbox one. But yeah, you're right.
So, and I do happen to own that, but my copy is the one that's from like Blockbuster Video, so it has like the tape all over it and stuff that says like Blockbuster.
Oh.
But that one's like the harder version, and it has like extra stuff in it, which is kind of cool. But the port that they did not include all that, so it was kind of like a missed opportunity. it was basically the original version. They ported over. Yeah, that would be my top. I would love it. I just don't see it ever happening.
No, those are solid. Like I was happy. I got mine. I honestly have one Fable, so I got Fable. Other than that, like it's kind of been what we've talked about so many times in the past, right? Like, and Pizza brought up them today too. Was just like some old school like PS2 um retro games like Sly Cooper and um more Jackson Dexter, like just those kind of platformers, right? I don't know. I would
Yeah,
love to see them come back and make a little return, even if it's just like a remaster. It doesn't even have to be like a new take on it or whatever, right?
right.
Just for a new generation to play them.
Yeah, just an excuse to go back.
Yeah, yeah. Especially Sly Cooper. I miss that series. That was such a great one.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for stopping on tonight. I appreciate it. Um, oh man, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Jimmy and me at one point will have our next chapter in our podcast series. We had our little topic floating around. And I know you've had a few too, Jimmy. So yeah, I'm excited to sit down and chat with you again over
What
some of the things we've been discussing.
do you have any days coming up?
Well, my schedule's kind of the same. So I have tomorrow off, but then usually in the afternoon, Cheyenne and I have our little date day. But as far as the rest of the week, yeah, I'm open. Thursday I just work in the morning, and Friday I work in the morning, and Saturday I work in the morning. So other than that, I'm pretty much free for the podcast.
Okay, so either Thursday or Friday, I should be pretty free.
Okay, nice. Okay, well, there you go, folks. We'll have another one in the bank for you right away.
Hell yeah!
Um, I don't know if you were down for it, but like we were saying that if you wanted to do the Gears of War versus Halo 1 topic, maybe.
I'm down. I'm about it.
Yes, yes, okay. I've been
I know
thinking
you've
about it
been
so
dying
much. I
to
was like,
talk
I have
about
so
it.
many points.
So
So
ready.
yeah, that'll be fun to do then. Okay, well, yeah. So there's something to look forward to for the next podcast. But yeah, thank you guys so much again for stopping on. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a wonderful night.
You
Thank you.
too. Bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye. And for the rest of you, like always, thank you so much for listening. I know that was a long podcast. This is going to be a fun one to edit. I can't seem to get that to work right now. There we go. Um, yeah. What was it? 3 hours and 30 minutes almost. Wow, that's a long ass time. It is 10:30 here, so I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Have some food first. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for my mobile Wednesday, and then Thursday it sounds like we'll have the podcast, and then Friday will be Let's Get Physical Friday. I will see you guys all next time. I hope you have a beautiful evening, and yeah, bye.